this.
Alright guys, welcome back to Am I Your Hero, and this is Butterfly Spirit.
314, yeah. So today we're doing a collab together or whatever. We each have YouTube channels or whatever.
Mine is Am I Your Hero, as you know.
And mine is Butterfly Spirit 314, and basically we have two separate channels. Our focus is different. And we're both on a spiritual journey, so to speak. But we're not on a church spiritual journey. So if you're, a Christian and you're thinking we're in church and stuff like that, that's not where we're going. So, if you think that's where we're going, then you could probably just exit the video if that's what you're thinking, because this is nothing to do with that. Although we're kind of going to talk about church, but this is not a church or Christian type of video, if that makes sense. Okay, I hope that helps. Because some people think when you say spiritual, I saw synchronicity. Some people think when you say spiritual, they think you mean Christian or church and stuff like that.
It's kind of impossible because they don't believe in to be spiritual. So it's hard. It's hard to talk to them about those kind of things, and for them to even talk to you about those kinds of things, because they don't believe in that.
Well, I mean,
something that they are against.
I mean, that's a good place to kind of start. So, like, in church, I've gone to church. I've gone to a few different kind of churches, but the church I used to go to for years was a Catholic church, so more of a traditional church. And spiritual, spiritual wasn't really a term we used. The only term really was like, Holy Spirit, Holy Ghost type of thing. That's pretty much kind of where it went. And, there wasn't really anything spiritual. If you're saying spiritual, you mean like spirits type of thing, beings that are not like three-dimensional or whatever. You're meaning like spirits that are, we wouldn't call them alive spirits exactly.
Yeah, they're on the 4D, 5D, or 7D,
yeah, there's a higher
whatever dimensions they're on. They're not here. We can't perceive them. They're on a dimension that we can't perceive, or a frequency or a vibration that we can't perceive. Much like the internet, it's like metaphysics.
Yeah. What do you think about? So when you went to church, like for Pentecostal, then what was there when they said spiritual? What did you think they were talking about?
Well, when they said spiritual, first thing I got in there, and I was immediately put off because I heard everybody speaking like on TV, like they do with the exorcism and the demons, or all speaking in tongues, and I immediately thought, must be demons, must be the devil in here. I gotta get out of here. They must worship Satan. That's immediately what I thought as a kid. And so they suckered me more into it because I was going through a bunch of shit. And when I mean a bunch of shit, I mean a bunch of mental abuse, molestation, and this stuff, and physical abuse and things like that. And I was like, all right, let's see what they're here to talk about. So they start telling me about this person named Jesus. And I was like, oh, wow, that person's got spiritual abilities like me. He can see demons. He can see spiritual stuff. I can see spiritual stuff. That guy walked on water. My stepbrother Sheridan saw me run over a deep puddle of water, and I ran right on top of it, and I didn't sink. So, apparently he can hear the dead speak, and, sometimes I can hear it speak. Okay, wow, Jesus came out of his body? Wow, I remember when I came out of my body. Oh, okay, cool. So me and this guy named Jesus are alike. Okay, cool. So I can go ahead and tell the church about my experiences. But when I did that, they tell me to shut up, be quiet. The church ain't ready for that. That's of the devil. That's Satan. I'm like, wait a minute. So now I'm confused because I'm like, wait. So aren't they worshiping a guy that does the stuff that Satan does? If that's Satan, and that's so Jesus must be Satan. Like I just can't get that stuff out of my head. I'm like, so why are they worshiping? It's an age of 13, I'm thinking this stuff. I'm like, so why are they worshiping a guy who's like me, who should be in hell because that's the devil or that's Satan? But they're worshiping this dude. So maybe I wasn't wrong. Maybe they really was worshiping Satan. I mean, the Jesus dude. But I mean, growing up, that's all I knew. I didn't know of any conscious community. I was trying to. My main reason for going to church was to find another person like me, to find the closest people I could see that I knew existed, that even believed in ghosts, that even believed in the paranormal. It's like they did, but they didn't. They believed in their own paranormal, but not any experience you have is Satan, the devil.
Yeah, but if the preacher or the pastor or whatever, if they say they're speaking to God, then it's all fair game and everybody believes it and stuff, when the pastor says, oh, well, I spoke to God, and everybody in church believes that, but then when regular people come to church say that, they think you're crazy.
But why are they doing that? They don't believe in channeling.
Yeah, that's what channeling is
Yeah.
if you're communicating with spirit.
I mean, so I'm sitting there like, why are you doing that? And then they talk about you gotta be baptized, like, to get rid of what? To get rid of spirits. Okay, hold up. To get rid of spirits by water, that's voodoo. So getting rid of spirits by water, that's how you get rid of spiritual demons in the land of voodoo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? In the land of voodoo, how you get rid of a physical demon is by fire, which is why they burnt witches. So anybody that thought was a witch, they burnt them by fire because they thought that they was a physical demon that was really there in the physical world. So they burnt them by fire. So they don't like voodoo either, which, okay, it's African stuff. So why are they using it, y'all? You know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm sitting here thinking, like, hold up. Go ahead.
Something I want to say about witches, because people have this misconception about witches, that witches are these scary demonic people, but really they're far more closer to the earth than people actually realize. I know on TV they have all this bullshit where it's witches are, they're evil and putting hexes on people, but that's not really like that. If you believe everything on TV, you're going to have issues. I'm sorry. It's just going to be one of those things you're going to be having. If you believe all the shit on TV, look at reality shows. And do you think that stuff really happens?
They make that stuff match with church, too. That's what's so weird.
Yeah, they do.
To get you back in that mug.
Yeah, it was weird. We were somewhere and we saw on this TV, they had this exorcist TV thing. And the guy was saying, well, I'm gonna, draw this demon in the name of God and use these Bible verses. Right, and he's an exorcist. Okay, and it's on TV, and he's referencing God, and God's gonna help this guy cast out demons. Okay, so it's do Jesus or they trying to, I was confused about what they was trying to say. The power of God's gonna draw out demons,
I mean, well, they better read the right verses.
Yeah,
they better read the right ones, because it's like when I studied it, like when they tell you, you know how you in school, they tell you, study, pick a subject and do a study, and then bring all your research. Get 7 works cited pages, some of it from the internet, some of it from articles, some of it from YouTube videos, some of it from books. And you got to bring that compilation of your works cited pages on the back of the page and have all your research on the on the pages in the front. Mm-hmm. Okay, so one time my pastor, he told me, I was like, how do I get to know God better for real? Because my prayers aren't working, blah, 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 blah. He's like, you got to study the Bible. I was like, oh, okay, bet. I was wanting to get serious. I wanted to get close with God because stuff wasn't working. Jobs getting lost, lectures getting cut off, all these type of things happening. Prayers ain't working. I'm following the instructions, how to pray. Me and her, we praying and things and together. She graduated from college, praying for 2 years and nothing, just nothing.
Yeah, didn't get a job.
She goes to bed. I come here in the front room. I clear out all the space. I keep asking Jesus to show, because paranormal that's not new to me. So and if this person is supposed to still be alive, it's no problem for him to show up. for 2 years straight, for those same 2 years, I'm trying real hard to get to know Jesus. They're saying, all these people, oh, Jesus revealed himself to me, blah, blah, blah. This mug ain't revealed myself to. They say, you got to have perseverance. I said, okay. I tried for 3 months, and it wasn't working, so I went to Pastor, what's up? You got to have perseverance. So I tried for 2 years. Who the fuck tries for 2 years, and this mug never shows up?
Yeah.
That was what my problem was. So the thing is that, how you're sitting there in church. So I'm still looking for these answers with this paranormal experiences and stuff. These people, some of these pastors are telling me, you're ruining my business with this stuff. You're ruining my business. I'm saying, like, how's it business with him? And the thing about it is that you're sitting there. And as when you're a kid and you're in school, they say 666. You immediately go back to,
the mark of the beast.
You immediately go back to, when they say that, right? But when you're a kid, and you're hearing this, you're still in school, so it's no problem for you to understand, okay, 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons. This stuff instantly pops in your head. And it's weird because, you get told, when you're a kid that, okay, well, Adam and Eve, they sinned because they ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Then later on, when you get a little older, you get to sit in a different part. It's not just the children's church anymore. You get to sit in the big church, the big part of the church. Now they tell you, God says we suffer from a lack of knowledge. And then you're like, hold up. Because I remember when I was a kid, you told me that that's a sin. So, hold up. So, if we suffer from a lack of knowledge, why the hell are we being punished for trying to go get some knowledge? Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you grow older, you start hearing more stuff. You start learning more things. It's kind of like how in kindergarten they told you what's 2 minus 5, and you say 0. Okay, but then you get in the 3rd grade and you find out that 2 minus 5 ain't 0. 2 minus 5 is like -3. Now it's dead. Now you learn about that. So. And now, for the rest of the math, as you grow up, you got to do it like that. So, it's kind of like that with the whole Noah's thing. Because with Noah's Ark, right? We know that the whole earth flooded. The whole earth, no land was found for 8 months. All right. And the boat's about as big as 2.5 football fields. Okay. But what was it like? 5 unclean animals? 5 unclean animals, and then you had 2 of every clean animal? Elephants are huge, crocodiles, alligators are huge. Those things were way bigger back then because they didn't have the pollution to make their growth be small. Even frogs were huge. So we got a couple problems. Because that's the bugs too, okay. So now I read it, okay, and it didn't say anything about, it was all the animals that breathe on land. So it was all land. But the problem is that if any of you are mountain climbers, you know how thin the air gets. When you get that high up as Mount Everest, okay, you're not going to survive. You got about 5 minutes to get right back down, or you're going to choke. The air is too thin. It's too cold. First of all, this is what I like to know. Those of you who own reptiles, you know that you got to keep the heat level a certain level in there. Those of you who live in the Eskimos or who've lived in these cold places, that stuff like polar bears and penguins. You see seals. If you've ever traveled or you are a sea person, you travel on sea or you just live in these cold places or you ice fish, of these animals live in these cold climates. So, if Noah was in a place of dry land where it never rained, so he must be in a place that's like almost somewhat desert-like, okay? So, how he gonna pick up the animals that lives on marshland? Okay, how is he able to keep the boat? Okay, we're not even getting to the part where they're not going to survive because the air is going to be too thin for being that elevated in the earth as Mount Everest. But how are they going to, because like I said, those of you who own reptiles, how are they going to live? He has to have something, something there to keep the temperature just right so that the reptiles can actually digest and eat their food, because reptiles only eat and digest their food when it's hot. The penguins and things like them, they need their area to be nice and cool because as well as reptiles. They need a cool place and they need a hot place. But we have stuff like frogs. Okay, frogs need marshland. They are land and water. And they can't go outside because when it's flood, the flood has now we know it's mostly ocean water. So there's no fresh water. He's got to get fresh water somehow, okay, for the frogs and for the amphibians and for the alligators because they are marshland animals. So they need, even for the five unclean, all of them need that. Okay, they need land, dry land, and they need water. If any of them was to touch that salt water, dead. Okay, and they for 8 months. Who can live at the altitude of Mount Everest for 8 months? Nobody. That's why nobody lives there.
So how many of the animals did they say that he took?
I think it was like 5 unclean
And
2 clean.
okay, so I'm gonna say something that's gonna kind of add to this. So we got this, Noah's Ark, story, and Noah got all the animals, and I believe it's all the insects too and stuff like that or whatever, because he was told to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's the question: if you have two, you got 2 of every animal. Okay, so assumably, if you're taking 2, you're gonna have animals that are, of each. You'll have a male and a female. What happens when you get a male and a female together? Y'all know what happens. Put 2 and 2 together. What happens? You get a male and female.
Babies.
They make babies, right? Okay, so they making babies, right? And animals ain't got no birth control, right? Okay, and back then the people ain't got it either. So you get the male and female animal. Y'all know what they gonna do. They gonna do a little something, and then they gonna have some babies. Okay, so now there's more animals. Because with dogs, right? Dogs can have, a litter of puppies that can go. Some of them can go up to 10 puppies or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. So 2 animals can make, depending on the animal, they can have a lot of babies. So like you get turtles, right? Well, the issue with turtles is turtles like to bury their eggs and stuff like that. So if you're gonna have baby turtles, you're gonna lose the baby turtles because they have to be buried in sand. They can't be buried on the ship. So then he got to have like a little beach type of thing going on too. You know what I'm saying? Type of environment. You got to have multiple environments for all these animals, right? But the main thing is that if you have a male, the 2 animals, 2 of them, male and female, they gonna make babies. So that means that the amount of space that you'd have for those 2 animals, you need to make it bigger because they're gonna have babies, right? And those animals are gonna start to reproduce because that's what they do. They reproduce. Okay, so and not just you gonna have 2 cheetahs or 2 lions doing this. You're gonna have all the animals reproducing at the same time, which means Noah's gonna have to feed all these animals, right? He's gonna have to have all these ideal conditions so these animals can survive. They didn't say the animals were on birth control, okay? Like every animal stays celibate. Okay, it wasn't like that. They were together, right? And there's another issue with the Noah's Ark thing where with the animals, there's the notion that, well, animals eat animals, okay? You got some animals who are, eat meat. Some of them eat plants, some of them eat a whole assortment of stuff. So how's Noah going to keep these animals from killing each other? Because, you got like a jungle going on up in here. With the little, Noah's Ark thing. So that means Noah's going to be on the clock constantly trying to guard these animals and stuff from each other. And then let's say you add on the insects because you need the insects, to where you're going. You're going to need them. You have to have insects because, you got your worms and stuff. They help with growing stuff.
They kind of small. You can kind of fit. You can find
you can fit them
anywhere.
You can fit insects anywhere, okay, but well, we got some insects is gonna be an issue. We got some insects
because they need the queen.
We got like bees, for example, right?
Yeah,
so bees are gonna need, you can put the bees in a little enclosure and stuff. You can do that with bees, right? They can do that. Of course you can do it with bees. But
But the mosquitoes gonna be
the
tearing somebody
mosquitoes,
up.
yeah. So you're gonna have mosquitoes. Okay, well, did they have mosquito repellent then? No, they didn't have that. So they gonna be, Noah and his family gonna be in there, itching
Beaver's
for
gonna be
months.
Beaver's gonna tear that ship up. If made out of wood, Beaver's gonna tear that
Yeah, you got
ship
the
up.
woodpeckers in there too.
Hamsters, y'all know hamsters, gerbils, they gonna tear that ship up.
And plus
Termites, tore up.
like you said, they're bigger then than they are now. There is more oxygen, so they were bigger. So that means the boat would have to be. I mean, the boat would have to be huge, damn near. It can't be two football fields. It had to be bigger.
It wasn't. It wasn't even as big as the Titanic. I mean, you guys know that. You got to have certain animals in a certain enclosure for them to stay healthy, for them to stay happy. So if you're going to have two, what enclosure did he have them in? I mean, horses are huge. They can't survive for 8 months like that, because in close quarters like that, they need that space. Y'all see the acres of amount of space that a horse needs. It's 8 months.
Okay, let's talk about enclosure. Like, so y'all ever been to the zoo, right? Okay, when you go to the zoo, you notice that there's enclosures for the different animals, right? And they all have to have environments that are stable for them, okay? And zoos have to be big, right? They have to be bigger, and I think zoos have to be bigger than 2 football fields. They have to be bigger because you got some animals that need to run. Some of them need to run around, you know what I'm saying? You got to have that aquarium for the fish and everything. Some places got the polar bears.
Actually, to be honest,
I mean, zoos
when you go to the zoo and you actually see the enclosure for like the gorillas, they seem to be about as big as maybe half a football field.
Okay,
for one type. All right,
yeah, but then we got the elephants too. Like, if you seen like where the elephants are, they got to have a lot of space. Yeah, the elephants are big,
but they have elephants have about a little more than half of a football field.
Yeah, I mean, but
because a football field is an acre.
Yeah, and I mean, if you add all these places together, with the different things, I mean, it's going to be more than 2 football fields the animals are going to need. But see, think about animals in the wild. Animals in the wild need more space and they're, like I said, there's more oxygen, so it's bigger.
Yeah, it's not like they was born.
It's not like they're small like now. They're not domesticated.
Another thing, so that's just the problem with Noah. Like I said, when you get older, you go through school and you learn things. So it's very hard to tell a person that's not how you study the Bible. When they tell you that just read the Bible, it'll change your life. Mm-hmm. It's almost like reverse psychology. They tell you to do something which will make you not do it because you don't want to be told what to do.
Yeah, and with the Bible.
Thing. But when you do, mm-hmm. You do how you learn in school. So but no one's having in 3rd grade, we learned that people's been living on this earth way longer than since the Bible came to existence. But we learned that in middle school. But no one, complains about that. No one talks about that. And then, there's people that get upset because there's people that call themselves gods, like Jesus said, how are you going to stone me? How are you going to crucify me? For saying that I'm God when saying that you are gods,
Mm-hmm.
And, that part where they say, for thou so being a man maketh himself God, we stone thee, and for blasphemy we stone thee. And he said, something like, but is it not written down that I, Jesus, said that you are gods? Mm-hmm. Things like that. And when you read the Bible, you start seeing words like, mm-hmm. Verily I say unto you, let no man deceive you, for they shall come in my name, saying that I, Jesus, am Christ, and mm-hmm. shall deceive many. And then you go to church and you hear it. That's where you're going to have a problem with the pastor, like I said. But the thing is that they kind of get your logic. Your last bit of logic is when they tell you it's with the baptism. You come up and you're a new creature like a baby. Like, you got to learn everything over again. Because logically, that babies are brand new. They don't know anything. They just copy what they see to learn everything. Boom! Now they got you. Because that's your last bit of logic, because now you're in there, and now you know that you're a baby, you're like an infant, you don't know anything, and you have to copy everything that they do and everything
Mhm.
that they say.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's pretty much how they can get you. But if you try to go with them with any spiritual problems, it's not going to help you.
Mhm.
You got to find a spiritual community, which is hard to find. I recommend finding maybe a new age store. I mean, I'm not saying I'm new age. I actually don't know that religion. I
Yeah.
don't know new age.
We don't really
We're just
know that.
well. I'm just looking for the freedom and to be able to make sure I don't come back here. Did I tell this? Did I tell them about when I was in my mother's room or whatever for this video?
No.
Okay, so if you want to know if reincarnation is real, yes, it is, because I when I got out of church, I started meditating, and it's weird. It's like my memories were coming back together, and I remembered my very first memory was when I heard a voice say, "Do you want to see the kingdom of heaven?" I said yes. When I said yes, immediately I was in a felt like a holding place, and I heard a woman talk all the time. I heard her voice all the time, and I'm like, okay, that's God. And I had a knowing that okay, I just gotta wait to come out. I just gotta wait. When I come out, I'm gonna come out into heaven. It's gonna be. I was so happy. I was giddy. I still have the feelings now. The excitement of no more pain. Yes, I made it. I still have that joy and excitement.
Mhm.
But it's too. I can't have that for real because I'm here back on Earth. Okay, and I remember, hearing certain music that my Uncle Joe would listen to. Like I remember hearing her and how it looked like I would know that it's time to go to sleep or whatever, or it's nighttime, because like the light, how light shines through your skin and it's red. That's what I always saw. But I was happy for that moment, and then when it goes black, I just go to sleep. So you know, I would hear like stuff like Missy Elliott because I'm a 1989 baby. So like I would hear Missy Elliott songs. I would hear like old school jams. And so I don't remember actually coming out. Um, I do remember after that is I do remember like a feeling in my body, like something was like something was going throughout my veins, and I'm guessing that was the booster shot or the shot, and I'm weird.
When you're a kid?
Yeah, like baby.
Okay,
Like
so when you came out.
Yeah, when I came out, but I was already out. But I don't remember seeing. I couldn't freaking see anything. It's just I could all of a sudden I got this poke, and I just felt it go in my veins, run all around me, and it felt weird, and my taste was all messed up. So next thing I know, I was breastfed, so no Similac for me. I was breastfed, and well, I distinctly remember. I don't remember like tasting my mom's milk or anything, like on Lucy, although that was a good movie. But I do remember being in, like the car seat. You take your baby out, you set it on the floor, you carry it around like a basket. I was in the car seat on the floor at my grandma's house when my grandma was still alive, and I saw my uncle. I saw two of my uncles and my mama talking, and my feelings, seeing them now, I can see. So my feelings was that I'm still waiting. I'm like, okay, they're talking about something. It's about me. They're preparing to make my life okay, and that's all. That's the exact feeling I got. Um, like after that, like just weird paranormal stuff would happen after
Mm-hmm.
that. I would be seeing my mom would put me in the crib. She'd hear me crying in the bathroom. I can't crawl yet
Mm-hmm.
or walk. Weird stuff like that would happen all the time. And then I would always show her stuff like this or like that, and I would make.
Mm-hmm.
I would show my mom. I'd make her like these faces at her of dead people. Yeah, I would see, and I told her about how after my grandma died, I told her about how I saw grandma, how I saw like this black figure,
Mm-hmm.
go in my grandma's room, and then like she went to the door,
Mhm.
and she fell. Um, like I had. Oh no, go ahead and talk because I'm about to get into the Bible part, like how paranormal stuff happened with me when the Bible was read to me, and like it like burnt on my stomach and stuff. So I'm gonna get into that. But I've been talking for a minute, so I'm gonna go ahead and let Butterfly Spirit talk. All right.
Um, let's see, what was I gonna say? Um, well, I mean, as you guys, like a lot of you guys are probably listening or whatever, I think you guys are probably thinking, um, I know a lot of you guys may have views about Christianity and stuff like that. Like, well, his story can't be exist because I know because in my church they say this and this is what we believe, but you're going along with what your church believes because you want people to like you, and you're probably in church because you want something. You want to get blessed because you want a new car, you want a job, you want something. That's what you're there. You're there asking for something, or you're there asking for something for somebody else. You go to church to ask, you know. I mean, are you going there, to give anything? Probably not. You're going there to ask because you've been told if you go and ask, like in the Bible it says you know, a lot of people refer to the verse, seeking you shall find, asking it to be given. That's what it comes across as in church, but if you look in the Bible at that particular verse, it is a lot more, to that verse. And one thing that a lot of people need to realize with Bible verses is, you know, in your church they say like a sentence or an excerpt, a little tiny bit of something, but they don't read the full verse. You know what I'm saying? They don't read, the first line, second line, third line, and go down. That's an issue that they do not read, and a lot of y'all probably gonna be lazy. You're probably not going to want to do that. You're probably too afraid to open up the Bible and read because you feel like you can't understand it. And that's why you go to church to let the pastor read it and stuff. You're doing it because you think, well, this is gonna work. My family is gonna, everything's gonna be good with my family. My kids are gonna be taken care of. This is what you're thinking. Our lives are gonna get better if we go to church.
No, that jogs my memory. You mind if I tell?
Yeah, sure.
All right. That jogs my memory of when I remember I was in the church, and I remember this kid came in. He was in college, and he straight told my pastor, "Oh yeah, I'm about to go in the military, and I'm coming out of Bible college, Bible school, out of Bible college." I'm like, what was that? And I heard my pastor say, "Oh yeah, I finished my Bible college. I finished my Bible college, got my, Bible degree and things like that." I'm like, wait. That's a career. If you go to college for something, that's a career. Because this whole time, I'm talking from like age 12, when I was very first introduced into it for real during the time of the abuse or whatever. I always believed the pastor was talking to God spiritually directly, like he's the anointed one. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta find out I'm getting something. Oh, as I'm older, I'm getting what he's telling me is from the system, which I know doggone well the system ain't here to help me, especially not no black folks, especially not us. The system ain't here to help us for real. It's really not. Y'all know because if you go to college, you get in debt. Go to college, you'll be nothing. But then you go to college, you can't find a job. We know the school system ain't there to help us. So this dude is not talking to God at all. He went to Bible college. He's feeding me the system. Yet again. And then I find out about 501c3s, where where the government is always helping them out to stay, giving them tax exempt status to
Giving
keep
the
them
church the tax exempt status.
to keep them up and up.
I just wanted to clarify.
Go ahead, babe. I just wanted to go.
I
ahead
wanted to
say
clarify that too, but I think really, I think really, I think for like for us, we've kind of been on a journey where we've we've come from Christianity and now we're on a road to going towards, we're no longer part of Christianity and we are basically have left it and we're on a journey where we're finding out more about what people call metaphysics, spirituality, and stuff like that. That's kind of where we are. And one thing I think, and I guess I was gonna say this earlier in the video, is that like um, with reference to the Bible, I think with the Bible holds a lot of power in Christianity, and when you go to church, that's something that they always refer to and stuff like that. And I will admit, to me, when I was a Christian, I'll admit that the Bible. When I heard of it was, when I was in high school, I heard the story of Job. So, you know, that wasn't a really happy story where Job lost everything and stuff. And as a Christian, I thought, even though I heard the story of Job, I still thought, that the Bible itself was a great book. It is a good book. This is what I thought. The Bible, oh, it's the Holy Bible. You can't let anything go on, no dust on it, nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's that kind of book. You know what I'm saying? The Bible's just like, if you ever seen the movie Sleeping Beauty, how they had that rose and that, it's like a rose and like,
And like
this,
that capsule.
it's not a capsule. It's like where they had a cake plate over it or something. It's like a magical rose up there. It's kind of like how I thought the Bible was. You know what I'm saying?
Holy relic.
Yeah. I thought it was a relic. And I also thought with the Bible, it was something where there was a disconnect with the Bible for me, where I would open the Bible and I would see the words in it, but I couldn't really make out and understand what was being talked about in the Bible. And it's because the Bible sounds like poetry or something like that.
That was one of my biggest problems, yeah. Because I did terrible poetry. Like, I failed poetry. I sucked at that whole Shakespeare stuff.
So that's something I think that's something that's really intimidating for a lot of Christians, which is why they don't open the book, because they can't understand it. But I think the thing that helps is having somebody to help you to understand it. Do I mean that you go to church and you try to, have your pastor help you understand it? Well, yeah, they'll try to help you understand it, all right. They'll have you go through Bible study. But in Bible study, they're still not going to answer questions you have. I mean, and one personally, he was, when he was in church, he went to Bible study and he read the Bible. He had questions. He went to, the pastor about it and the man in church about it, but they weren't really willing to answer his questions about what he thought. And, and he had new and different ideas about what it meant, but they were not willing to understand what was being said about, his ideas about the Bible and what he was learning. I mean, to me, that's kind of interesting. And a lot of people's first they go towards, oh, go to Bible study, because Bible study is how you learn about it. But in Bible study, they don't really teach you anything.
Bible study that I did with them, I was in there for like 2 years, like recently. And they kept starting over like Psalms, or they start over someplace. And it's not, they don't go through the whole Bible. They don't do that. Because if they do, that's where you find out that Jesus didn't die for your sins, and he didn't want to die for your sins, and you find out he was dressed as a gardener. That's where you find out that every time they say that God is author of confusion, that the very next verse is they telling women to shut up, and if they learn anything in church, that they have to ask their husbands, and the very next verse after that says that, and they never read that, and you find out these things, that's how abusive the things are, that a guy had to sacrifice his own daughter for a spoils of war. The guy, this mob wanted to rape this guy. They wanted to know him, which we know that in the Bible, know and knew means sexual content. This mob came knocking on this preacher's house, and they wanted to rape this guy, and this guy gave them his daughter. I mean, I got a list.
There's a lot of stuff in there.
There's a lot of stuff in there. It's really messed up, and they never preach this stuff. But see, the thing is that I understand now why they didn't want me to come up with the stuff that I was saying, because in Revelations it say not to add or take away from the book. Now, after I learned that, going to church became very hard, because every Sunday the pastor would get up there and give his interpretation of it. And he wouldn't just tell me the interpretation of what the Bible says for it to be. Now, anytime I had a problem, like let's say, if you have a problem with looking at a woman, or you have a problem with masturbation or lust, or your relationship ain't going right, so you watch a little bit of porn or some shit like that. So You go to him, then he wants you to take the Bible literally, and then he don't want you to add or take away from it. But then you got to be faced with going to church again, you
Mhm.
know. And it's so hard to sit there and knowing every day that your prayers aren't working, and you're supposed to go to a freaking altar to pray for forgiveness, but you already know that your prayers ain't working. So why are you going over there to pray for forgiveness if prayers don't work? You know, it's just one of those things. Go ahead.
But I think with Bible study, the thing too also is, you go to Bible study, basically they're going from a program of what it is that you're going to be learning and stuff, and what they want you to learn. There are people who have written books. I've even read a book. I hadn't finished the book, but it's a book where this guy who is I believe he was a preacher, and he basically talked about how he found out the truth about the Bible, and basically he went to go and speak to these people at this church, and was teaching these people about the things in the Bible and stuff. And the people in the church that he was explaining these things to in the Bible, the preacher was telling them things that they had not heard before. They did not understand that was in the Bible. He also mentioned to the people that, pastors and preachers, reverends, they go to, Bible college and stuff. And he thought people knew that, but they didn't know that. He was basically, by chance talking to these Christian people, that were church, God fearing people, and telling them information about church and the Bible and things like that they didn't know. Particularly with the fact, and this may blow a lot of people's mind essentially, but the fact that they pick and choose what it is that they say in church. They know in church, and not in church, in Bible college, they're taught the verses to speak to you to get you guys to agree and to lie church and everything else. And then they are taught the verses to stay away from, so there's no, getting you guys to run out of church and run away, type of thing. They want it to be an environment where you feel like it's loving and all that stuff. And, get things, where the verses go along with the people think. They're instructed on how to do it, on how to keep you in the church and keep you thinking a certain way. This is a mentality. This is, something they put together because they're basically, they're saying what you want to hear, like the verse about, the women being told to shut up in the church and ask their husbands. That's a Bible verse. But I'm pretty sure a lot of women watching probably have never heard that verse before. They have probably never heard that.
But you heard the verse about, God is not the author of confusion. You heard that one. The very next verse is the one she's talking about.
But they say things to keep you there, okay? They say it to go along with stuff. The notion of you knowing God, okay, you got to read the Bible. They don't believe you're going to read the Bible. They know you're not going to read the Bible because they know you lazy and you're not going to want to go through the Bible because the Bible's long and it's confusing to you.
And you scared that the Bible's going to say even more stuff you can't do. So you definitely don't want to touch it.
And the thing about the Bible, here's the thing. You can read, there's a lot of people that read books. You can read a Harry Potter book, right? You can read these books, these romance novels and stuff like that, whatever. And, people read books cover to cover, But the thing is why is it that you do not read the Bible from cover to cover? And your church doesn't cover to cover, but you can read, a romance novel, you know what I'm saying? Ladies can read a romance novel and stuff like that and read it front to back, type thing. Particularly like,
shoot, here's what mine look like. See all them tabs? Full.
Particularly like, just any book. You are called to read any book, so why don't you read the Bible? And like I said before, you're probably going to say you don't read it because you don't understand. That's why you have the pastor to interpret it for you and stuff like that.
Or the guilt. The guilt might be getting to y'all, so you don't read it.
Well, I think, if you want to be a real Christian or anything, just like if you're going into a career field, you might as well know all you're going to have to know. You know, like if you're gonna be tested on something, like you going into a career field to be a doctor, a nurse, police officer, whatever you gonna go into. I don't know what profession you gonna go into, but you know you gonna have to know everything there is to know. You know, type of thing, right? You gonna study it because you want to pass the test, right? Well, shouldn't you treat if you're a Christian? Shouldn't you treat it the same way with the Bible? Because you want to be this Christian that's going, you know, please God and get to Jesus and stuff or whatever. You're gonna do everything you can, right? That's what you're gonna do. So you're gonna read it, right? Or are you just going to take on the title of being a Christian, but then you want to, you know, take the lazy ass way out and just go along with the pastor because that's easier to do, you know? I mean, he got serious about, you know, reading the Bible and knowing God because he's seriously thought, you know, through knowing, you know, the Judeo-Christian God, you know, the God of the Bible, that it's going to help his life be better, you know? But it didn't really do that. And the thing I think is funny, I looked up the thing about knowing God, and people say, oh, it's just reading the Bible and accepting the commandments. A lot of people don't accept the commandments. You're not going to accept the commandments, of course not, because it tells it's rules that is imposed on your life that you know, you don't want imposed on your life. Or people are going to say this video, oh, well, you know, I'm not really about the commandments because they old and stuff like that. I'm not going along with that. I'm not going to go with that. But you know what you may not also know is that, you know, people gonna say this phrase, you know, well, I'm gonna go with the New Testament. I'm gonna go along with what's relevant. But what you may not know is when Jesus comes, you know, to the people in the Bible, when we first see Jesus, he says that Jesus did not come to, you know, get rid of the old stuff. He didn't come to do that. He came to add to it. So that means Jesus is saying, just like you got the New Testament, the Old Testament is still in play. So the Job stuff with the, you know, God because people are the stuff, whatever, taken away, that still exists.
Well, the Job stuff that was where the guy actually let the devil have him. The rest of the stuff was God ordained. The rest of the horrible acts was God ordained. Like Satan actually killed like 8 people, where God was in like the millions. I mean, God was like millions. You can go ahead because
So what is the?
after you tell him that, I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all the story about my stories about how the Bible, like how paranormal stuff, like the stuff that they tell you the Bible's supposed to do, like get rid of demons. I'm
Well,
gonna
you
tell
can go
y'all.
ahead and talk about that, and then we'll kind of go through the other stuff too.
All right.
Go ahead.
All right. So basically, it's what happened. Uh, in Independence.
That's a city where you lived.
Yeah, in the city where I live, and it was like Kansas City, Independence, whatever. There's me, my sister, and the abuser guy, and they, you know how they say that if you suppose that there's a demon around, you read the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what's supposed to get rid of them. And don't play with Ouija boards because Ouija boards make demons come out and in your house. Okay, so I never had an Ouija board. What was there was a Bible, and when my abuser read this Bible, it acted just like an Ouija board. A demon came out of the hallway, and a demon came out. And that's not all that happened. That was like towards the end. What first started happening, because my mom wasn't around, okay, she was at work. First thing that happened was the lights flickered on and off. And where, like, there's me, my sister over here. He was in front of me. And the heater was flickering on and off. The air conditioner was a portable air conditioner, whatever, you know. And it was, you know, it fell off the countertop. The chairs, like the 2 chairs back there, you know, it's not in this house, but when I was little in Independence, they were smacking back and forth, and a whole bunch of papers flew out of the room. And that's when I saw this thing that looked like it came out of the Gremlins, except it was a lot taller, its joints was a lot thicker, and its colorations looked like a fucked up bunny. Okay, it's had like bunny-like ears and like a snout, and it was like purple and brown.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it came out, and then it looked at me and my sister, and I yelled at it like I was like, no, just like that. First thing I did, ask my sister if she'd seen it. She couldn't see it, but I've been seeing stuff since I was freaking forever, for little. Okay, so the demon or whatever, it just went through the floor. Okay, and I don't classify it as a demon because TV, the media, I didn't talk to it. I don't know. Don't really know. I would classify it as demon because church. And it fell to the floor. and it turns into smoke or whatever. And so basically, my abuser closed the Bible because me and my sister was freaking out really, really bad and screaming, which is basically what he wanted. And that was it. That was the first time the Bible did something that an Ouija board did. The second time, okay, that the Bible did something else. What happened this time was where I was in Kansas City this time, in the heart of Kansas City, and my abuser, he took the Bible, he licked it, he told me to go to my room. I went to my room, he took my shirt off, and he put the Bible on my stomach, and he left me in my room in the dark. That's when the Bible, like, freaking was burning me. Like, it was on fire. The Bible itself wasn't physically on fire, but it burnt my stomach as if it was physically on fire. The Bible did this, okay? The thing that's supposed to get rid of demons. And guess what happened? Okay? What happened was that I heard 3 big booms on my door. Like, boom, boom, boom. And I was like, I yelled one at Russell. I was like, Russell, what else? I was like, then my sister said, sis, where are y'all? Where y'all at? And they said, we're in the front room. I'm like, if my mom's at work and those two are in the front room, what the heck is that banging on my door? And I just yelled, Grandma. And then as soon as I yelled, Grandma, come on, Grandma, Dad. So I yelled, Grandma. And next thing I know, like, I heard this, like, type of sound, and it was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, with baptism, they tell you, like I said, you get baptized, you're a new creature, and you get this veil of protection on you when you get baptized. Well, when I got baptized, okay, I went back home. This is where I was living with my dad. I went back to my dad's house, okay, and I took a nap. I woke up from the nap, and it was just me and my stepbrother in the house. And he was outside playing. So I woke up from the nap. I got up from the bunk bed. I go to press the on button on the TV. And that's when this invisible force hits me on my right side. And all of a sudden, I feel like I weigh about 20 more pounds. I can't see it, but I know that I weigh 20 more pounds. And it felt like something's on my back. So I just start scratching. And next thing I know, I felt like it was in me. Okay? Where the hell is my veil of protection at? For my baptism. What the fuck is going on here? Mm-hmm. So, I'm scratching, and now, and my skin's getting really red, and I'm black. So my skin getting red, what's up with that? That's really telling y'all something's up. And next thing I know, I'm just like, okay, I just kind of like go do something spiritual. I get, I don't know anything about spiritual, but it's just instinct. I kind of gather up a little energy inside my chest, and I kind of push it like that, like outwards. And that's what allowed me to be okay, at least for a little while. Other than that, other times, I ended up getting choked by an invisible force, slammed on the bed. My neck hits the backboard and the wall or whatever. And next thing I know, I come out my body. And everything feels real. It's like a blue atmosphere. I'm trying to wake up people. I'm yelling. I can hear myself yell. It's real. It's real. Mm-hmm. And, I didn't know that I popped in my body until I went back to bed because I couldn't wake anybody up. I was trying to get help. And I saw myself laying there, so I just laid back in my body, whatever. And that's all happened after the baptism. So, for me, the Bible was evil. Or, in the baptism was evil. Church was doing evil stuff, for me. Go ahead.
So, let's see. So, we're about to get to another hour. So, what we'll do is we'll basically, I guess the next part of the video, we're going to talk, about how we like different stuff or whatever. So, I guess we'll kind of try to briefly go through it, if we can, or whatever type thing or whatever. So, I guess we'll talk about church and Christianity. So, looking back at church, for example, what would you tell somebody about church now?
Be careful.
You've been through it.
Just be careful. I mean, they tell you what the Bible's supposed to do. They tell you what a baptism is supposed to do, but through my personal experience, it does the opposite. Just be careful.
What would you say about Christianity?
They're lying to people.
Why?
You know? Why are they lying to people? I guess because they've been doing it. The Bible was introduced to the slaves, and they've been doing it ever since then. The Bible was, through research, it was forced on people, and through murder and through killing people. And that's how the Bible got started in Africa. Because there was a dude named Serapis or Ptolemy, whatever that guy's name was, went down there and started killing everybody. You gonna give up when they're killing your family and everything. You just gonna say, all right, cool, man, chill, dude. What the hell? Sure, we'll believe in this damn book. That's all it's gotta be. Keep my fucking family from being saved. Keep them from being killed. That's what I'm gonna do. Sometimes you give up, and then they get rid of the old generation, and then the new generation comes in, all the babies, and they grow up believing that stuff. It's just like with the golden calf. When the Egyptians was originally worshiping the black woman, and they wanted to worship God, and they built the golden calf, because it's also one of the things that they worship was the golden calf, or the cow. So they built the calf, and they said, we're going to worship this calf, and we're going to do it we're not going to worship, we're going to build a calf and worship to God, because Moses was on the mountains for so long, and they didn't know he was going to come back down. And what happened is that they did that with the intention to do it for God, and that's all they knew how to do, because they didn't know how to worship God, because Moses didn't tell them. So Moses comes back down, and what happened? God kills them. He kills what, like 3,000 or whatever? The Israelites were doing that or whatever. Kills people that came out of Egypt, even though they did it for God. It's just like how how people say, the Christmas is pagan, Easter is pagan. Even though you're doing it for God, He don't care. Remember, if He says don't eat a fruit, and you do, it's evil. Just letting y'all know.
What I was gonna say is about with church. I think what I would say to somebody now that I'm not in church and I'm not Christian, I think what I would tell people is that there are lots of religions that exist. I believe there's 4,200.
Yeah.
There's 4,200 different religions that exist. Outside of Christianity being one religion, there's 4,199 religions. So there's other religions out there that exist. I would say to people that, just because you're a Christian or whatever, or maybe you're another religion, or whatnot, your religion's not the only religion. There are other religions out there. People have faith and belief in their religion and stuff. But I think one thing that is important is that I think it's important for you to really study about your religion and find truth in it, historical facts, stuff that's real about it, because there's a lot of people who fall out of their religion because they find that being in the religion doesn't work, so they go to something else, because in hopes that's going to be real and stuff. But, a lot of people don't know that there's like 4,200 religions. They really don't know, and that's very important to know.
Even I don't know what all of them are. I just know what the main ones are, what people, what they put on TV or what I see, around me. Because you're not going to get the luxury of finding where they worship Buddha around St. Louis, places like that. Not around where your culture is. It's going to be hard to find that because the majority of their culture worships something else, which God is supposed to be the person that bless you with a child and He puts them there. Why would He do that? First, when He's just going to supposedly through a Christian, if they're not Christian, I'm going to put them in eternal fire and hell. But before I go, I want to leave y'all with this.
Well, we still have other stuff to do, so that's why I'm saying we're going through other stuff.
Oh,
quickly.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll go with other stuff, I guess, quickly.
I
was going to talk about the prophecy, but I'll talk about that in the next part, about the prophecy about the Twin Towers.
So, since you mentioned it, you can go through it, I guess, if it's like,
Okay. So what I want to say is that, remember when the 9/11, remember how one of the prophecies is supposed to be about two metal ships or two planes hitting two big tall buildings, hitting two two towers or something like that. Okay, so that was supposed to be prophecy, and everybody's saying, "Well, the Bible prophecies are coming true." This is how you will find out that somebody wrote. This is somebody's plan, and what they're going to be doing to people. It's not prophecy. It's something that is a plan that somebody wrote, or the Masons or whoever's at the top, powers that be, wrote, and it's a plan that they're going to fulfill. So it's kind of good to know what's going to be going on. But I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all. So that prophecy about the hitting the planes hitting the Twin Towers. In real life, the people who were actually there was calling into the police officers, was calling into the emergency 911. They was calling into the news, and they kept reporting all over the place that bombs were going off. There are two bombs. Another bomb just went off in the Twin Towers. I'm standing right here. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Just look at the videos. You can find that stuff. Okay. If you can't find it, I guess I'll have to give you the link. Also, there is a news reporter there, actually there at the scene, and he said, "Oh yeah, everybody's reporting the bombs going off, blah blah blah," and that was the first bomb. But then he was there when the second one went off, and he's like, "Oh, another one just went off. Another bomb just went off right now." And the news reporter said, "Oh well, here on the TV screen, we seeing that there's planes hitting the building." And then the news reporter says, "Oh well, if the news says it's planes, oh, and then that's what's hitting the building, and that must be true." Okay, now what I want y'all to do is, we know that planes are aluminum. Those towers were meant to withstand earthquakes. They're made out of steel. Aluminum, when aluminum hits steel, it crushes. Now, planes are so lightweight and of a light aluminum that when birds hit planes, the birds that have hollow bones damage the planes really bad. So go look up pictures about the birds damaging the planes. See, that tells you right in front of your face, it's fake. Those prophecies are fake. Except for the ones by nature, which has already been recorded, which is how they knew about them, and they put them in this book, like the blood moons. They put them in this book to try to, validate the Bible. So that's telling y'all that the prophecies ain't real. That's not making the Bible real. It's just a plan that the powers that be have, or they got, Masons, whoever, and they're going to make it look to go along with this.
So I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah. So I guess I was gonna say about church. But my advice for church, honestly, is that I would say, like I said, there's 4,200 religions. There's a lot of other religions out there that exist. Everybody thinks their religion has the truth, when really, in religions there are little pieces of the truth, but maybe not the whole complete truth. Everybody has a piece of the truth. But the thing is, people don't want to put it together with the different religions. People don't want to come together with that. They really don't want to do that. So people are left with fragments, and they don't really know, type thing and stuff like that. But there's a lot of misconception and lies in religions that do exist. With reference to church with Christianity, because I'm a former Christian, but I'm not Christian anymore, is that, I would advise you to be aware, like you said, and be careful when you're going into a church. Seriously be aware, because if you go to a church and you just come in to visit a church, you will notice something where it'll be something where, they'll want to get your first and last name. They want to know the people's names in your household, how old people are in your household, if you got any kids. Churches want to know your income, and stuff like that. They want to get you into their church and stuff. And they're going to say, "Oh, you should join our church and stuff." I mean, be aware that when they're saying you should do that, type of thing, and they're trying to get all your information and find out about you and get you to, "Oh, you're going to be here next Sunday? You should join our church," Even if you're going to another church, they're going to want you to be at their church. Because a lot of churches are basically just competing for people. That's really what they're doing. They're trying to recruit people because, the more people they have in their church, the more people they have to give money to their church. That's just the honest thing. And they're going to want, 10% of your income, and they're going to tell you, well, the money you're making is not your money, it's God's money, type of stuff, which they're going to say. I would say, yes, I know people want to go into Christianity because, Christian churches, because their lives are hard. They got bad things going on and everything and stuff. But is going into Christianity really going to help you? Is it your effort that's changing your life, or is it the church? If you going out and you're applying for jobs and you get a job, that's you doing it. That's not the church doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's not.
If it was the church would say, "Hey, you want a job?" Then that would be church. They gave you a job.
With Christianity too, I wanted to say that Christianity, you know, there's a lot of people who believe in Christianity, and people want to believe in Christianity so hard and believe it's going to do something. It's like, they believe it's fairy tale of Christianity, and they want to, because they just want their lives to be better for them and their families. But a lot of people find that it doesn't work. Like, Anwin and I have found that it has not worked, which is why we have exited Christianity and we're no longer part of it, because we know the truth and we have an understanding about it.
When you guys were growing up, didn't y'all parents whoop y'all or ground y'all for lying? Okay then. You you got you can't trust liars. You just can't. You know.
I was going to say, oh, yeah, but I think what was I going to say? Just overall with Christianity, I would just say just be careful with it. Don't just go along with it, and stuff like that, and
Somehow that
stuff.
wasn't working.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
not. I mean, it's not. It doesn't work. It's not something that works. I mean, I was a Christian. You know, I went to college for 5 years, got my degree, and I was under the impression that going to college was going to give me a job. But when I got out of college, although I was told all these wonderful things about getting a job and how to be successful, thing was is that I didn't get a job, you know, and I filled out, I probably got into maybe 1,000 applications that I put in, and gone on interviews and stuff, and it always goes the same for me, where I don't end up getting the job, but somebody with lesser qualifications gets a job. Somebody who has um, either they will know somebody in the company, they will get hired over me, or they are they are white, so to speak, and they get a job over me getting a job, even though I have the qualifications and they may not, and they may have a high school diploma. They get a job. I'm not necessarily trying to call out race, but the truth is, let's be realistic. This is how this world actually is. Yes, there are things that favor white people. There are things. There's things that favor them that's not going to, you know, happen, particularly for somebody of my skin color. You know what I'm saying? And it's not going to, because things are set up for people who are white. So if there is a white girl, let's say I went to college with a white girl, whatever, and I did go to school with different types of people and stuff. But you know, yeah, I've gone to college with white girls, and they graduated, got their degree, and they've gone on to get these jobs, these corporations and stuff like that. Okay, well, why didn't I get that? It didn't mean that I wasn't applying for jobs. It didn't mean I wasn't preparing for interviews. It didn't mean I wasn't dressing up and stuff like that. Hell, I can dress up because I'm dressed up right now. So it didn't mean I wasn't doing anything. And I was a Christian on top of that. And I even went to his church and had people pray for me to get a job,
More
and
than
it did,
two.
and it did not work. So the point is that I want to say is that to me, Christianity is BS. And I'm not gonna sit here and say it works, because it does not. It doesn't.
This shit ain't never worked for us. I mean, right now, you know, at
It's just not
December
working.
the 24th, 2017, in Libya, black people were slaves again. They down there getting beat and whooped, and they're slaves again. I mean, where's Jesus at? Where's these cherubims and seraphims at? Like, send them mugs. Like, what is wrong with y'all? Like, they just gonna, and they can do all this killing, but they can't do no saving or nobody. Like, he ain't showing up for that. He ain't showing up for the slave boat. I mean, we gotta, this shit ain't never worked for us.
I think like that's something that does make a difference. And with Christianity, I think that the thing is true is that you have to be realistic. As a black person, I come from two sides of my family are Christian. One side is Baptist, one side is Catholic. And the thing is that it didn't do anything for me. Now there's gonna be people who gonna say, "Oh well, I got a job and I'm a Christian and stuff like that." Yeah, they're going to say that. But the truth is that it's not your religion that gets you a job. It's you to get a job. But you got to be realistic about how life is. No fairy tale is going to put you anywhere and make anything better. It's just not going to. Christianity, in my opinion, it is just something that people want to believe in and hope that it makes their life better. But I found it didn't make my life better. It didn't make his life better. And it just didn't.
Matter of fact, when I was in church, she can attest to this. I had so many night terrors about hell. I woke up screaming, sweating. I mean, really screaming. I was waking up neighbors. And now, ever since I got out, I haven't had that anymore. So it's really bad with the hell causing you night terrors. Which I was church. I didn't feel protected. I couldn't call no God. I couldn't even protect myself because remember, I'm nothing. I'm supposed to be nothing. The worst. And you guys always wonder what happened to a good person, how they become bad. It's because when they go to church, they're telling the kids, you're no better than anybody else. You're saying like everybody. You're no better than anybody else. So when they go to school, what's the use of working hard? When they get in high school, what's the use of trying not to be loose and having sex with a bunch of guys? And why, if I'm still equivalent to the person that's failing, why work for hard grades? If I'm still equivalent to a person that's stealing, why am I trying to be good? If I'm equivalent and I'm not better than nobody else, and I'm not better than the girl out here who's sleeping with all these different guys, then why am I over here being celibate and waiting until I'm married?
Mm-hmm.
That's the church that put that in their head, so it can't be mad. They did
that. There's an instance I read about where this girl, this lady, actually, two women actually. One woman, she grew up in the church and she took a purity pledge and everything like that, saying that she would not have sex until after she was married. Well, what ended up happening to her was that when she was about in her 20s, it was common for basically in the church that by the time you're 23, you get married. So she was basically pressured to get married to this guy that she was liked and stuff like that. And they dated the Christian way, I'm assuming, or dating God's way, whatever the hell that is. And well, okay, it's dating the church's way, which is dating God's way supposedly. So she ends up getting married, and she's a Christian, he's Christian. And what ends up happening is that she she was so much into that identity of being pure and being liked by people in the church and stuff like that, that after she got married, you know, of course, after you get married, you got the wedding night. The wedding night comes up, and what happened with her was that on her wedding night, she was nervous and everything about it and everything. And she basically that night she had a hard time being able to, she's kind of dealing with like the idea of, she's gonna have to sleep with her husband and stuff like that, her new husband and stuff. But because she has to do it because you're consummating the marriage. That's what you do after you get married in church. They say, you have, the man and the woman have sex, and in church they will say you have sex without any protection. This is something that they say because they want you to have kids. They don't. You got churches that don't believe in abortion, so they want you to have kids and stuff because they want you to, know the. They want you to have the good family supposedly, but well, that doesn't turn into the best thing. But anyway, so she sleeps with her husband and stuff, and it's very difficult for her to do because she doesn't know the first thing about what to do. But they figure it out, as husband and wife. And what happens is after she has, she's, they're halfway through sex, and well, they basically he stops. They stop or whatever because he sees she's uncomfortable. She's crying, everything carrying on. And so she goes in the bathroom. She's disheveled. She's crying and everything, and because of sex and stuff, and she had never had sex and stuff. and she was dealing with the guilt of the fact that she was she was no longer pure because she had sex. And the thing in her mind, the thing that she was thinking about was the fact that once she came back to church, the people in her church would know that she was no longer pure anymore, and they would know what she did. And she just, from there, she shattered. She lost that identity she held on so much to, and stuff like that. So she's thinking, who am I now? And now, it caused her to go in depression and everything, to the point where she basically left church because it was causing her, so the trauma from church was causing her so much, because she grew up with all this stuff in her head about what you're supposed to do and stuff, and save yourself in marriage and stuff, and it shattered her. Another woman was a Christian. She got married to her husband and stuff, and for them, they got married. And then what happened is that this lady thought that since she married the guy from her church and stuff, they were young, she thought that, it was going to be, their relationship was going to work out. It was going to be a great relationship, because the church said, oh, if you save yourself and you date guys with and stuff, then, your relationship's going to work. But actually, it did not work. What she found was, the lady found that she did sleep with her husband and stuff or whatever, and actually she was actually a pastor herself, actually. So this is very interesting that she was a pastor and stuff, and she had been preaching to church and stuff like that or whatever. But it was interesting that with her marriage, she found that after sleeping with her husband, she found that she was bored with her husband. She felt like she had missed out on having sex with other people during her teen years and stuff, because she felt like she's stuck with her husband now, and she didn't find him very exciting, and she was looking at other guys and this and that other. You say, how can a pastor do that? How can she do that? Well, as she got married, it was short lived. It didn't go the way she thought it was. And she started wondering about what it'd be like to be with other people and stuff like that. Of course, they ended up getting divorced. Now, the other people I told you about before, the husband and wife, they ended up getting a divorce too. You know what I'm saying? Because of what had happened. But what I want to tell people is that, with church, this stuff gets ingrained into people's heads. Some people are raised all the way up from little babies in the church, and they accept all this stuff, and it shapes how they grow up. And it can cause trauma, like it did for him, and stuff. And even for Anwan, he thought that, he's supposed to do things right by the church, and then he'll be able to get married and have a successful relationship. But, the church, actually it proved to be more of an issue, and them issue, not trauma, than what it's supposed to be. And I think that, just thinking about church and thinking about the type of people in church and stuff, and how the people supposed to be in church holier than thou, but they are telling you stuff like who you should date, and how many kids you should have, and what kind of choices you should make, where you have a job at and stuff.
So how the hell are they gonna tell you about having a kid, even though they preaching to you about hell, and bride is the way to hell, and everybody's leaving freaking church? Almost not everybody, but a lot of people's leaving the church because it's not working. And your kids gotta grow up in a place where they're gonna have feelings. Their natural body is gonna be natural. They're gonna disobey you, or they're gonna disobey the Bible one time. You tell them it's a sin, and if they do it again, there remaineth. If you do something, if you sin, knowing that it's a sin, after having the truth of it, there remaineth no more remissions of sins. Guess what? Because that right there, that part, I knew some stuff was a sin, and I did it anyway out of love, and I already knew. So you can just imagine how many, I almost like 4 times, I almost committed suicide 4 times on the account of church in that verse alone, because I was so tired of knowing that I was going to live till 100 plus years, knowing that I was going to go to hell, and no matter how much I prayed, that there remaineth no more remissions of sins for me whatsoever, because I knew better and I sinned anyway, and therefore I'm going to hell no matter how much or how hard I try, no matter what I do. On top of reading the Bible that is ordained by God for me to be abused and everything else.
Let's see. So let's see. Let's go to so we're not Christians. You know,
Clearly.
we're just saying we're not Christians because we're going over some people's heads here. So we're not Christians. Yeah, we were Christians.
Yeah.
But we're not Christians. So I want to
14
say
years I was
not.
in it for me.
Christianity. I mean, I was raised up in Christianity, so it's I was just in Christianity, which is what it was. So, but I would say this: leaving Christianity, I would say, for me, I wasn't totally ingrained in it type thing, but I would say I did have certain things that were in Christianity that were, said to me throughout childhood because my mom is Catholic and stuff, and people in my family are Christian. So, it's things that get stuck in your head and stuff with reference to it. But I would say, now that I'm not a Christian, I would say that, I feel that I see more truth in things and have a better understanding about things by not being a Christian. I feel like I do because, being a Christian, there's a lot of things you don't understand and you don't get, and I think Christianity, I think it's just a big facade. It is something that once you get out of it, you realize, well, damn, I was in that shit, type thing. And you start to be awake and aware of things. But, I would say now I am on a path to, what people say metaphysics, spirituality. I mean, they got a lot of names, occult stuff. People would call it a lot of different names of whatever, type of thing. But, spirituality is really, getting in touch with the fact of what your spirit actually is, and what it means for you to be a spiritual being having a human experience, exploring yourself spiritually, like learning about things, that church would say is demonized type of thing and stuff. And I think that being on a spiritual, journey for me or in spirituality for me is more freeing and stuff. And it is something where I feel more comfortable being myself and I learn more about people and things, specifically church, because you would think just because I'm not a Christian, I don't read the Bible. I actually got a Bible, but I ain't got it right in front of me. But
go ahead and tell them. I'll get it.
But particularly for me, with Christianity, so particularly for me, so this is my Holy Bible and all that stuff, nice, all shiny and all that stuff. So in my Bible, I got tabs in my Bible and stuff, and I got like post-it notes and stuff. I got a lot of like verses in my Bible and stuff. I don't know if y'all can see all that writing and stuff. Probably hard to see, but I got like a whole bunch of writing in my Bible and stuff. But I got a lot of verses in my Bible and stuff. I even wrote on here. Let's see if I can see it. Can you see it? Yeah, I got like a lot of writing in my Bible like that. So I got a lot of writing in my Bible and stuff.
Look
and
how
basically,
easy she opens we ain't scared to open it no more.
So basically, for me, personally, I would say like this right here, like I have tabs in my Bible, so you can kind of see I have tabs in here and stuff. So not being a Christian, I feel more comfortable opening the Bible, reading through it and stuff. And I would credit the fact of me not being afraid to open the Bible and read it and look at verses to basically to the YouTuber, The Real Merkaba, because, he actually took us through the Bible and we watched his videos about, it's time for the truth. And the Bible literally has tons of videos on Christianity and trying to help wake people up about the Bible, what it is. And he even had a video called, why people call themselves gods and stuff like that. Is, Black history, Bible history, whatever, it's something like that. But
yeah, like is the Bible truly Black history or something like that?
Yeah.
When we're doing our research, and we're doing our Bible studies, I'm telling you, like, butterfly spirit here, aka Michelle, like she be coming up with, she be finding extra stuff that really be going to things that they be saying. Sometimes I find extra stuff, plus the original things I already had, that goes with what she's saying. Like we find things ourselves.
Like, one thing I will say that we find, which I think it is, like I said, I'm not afraid to open up the Bible and read it. I'm not afraid to do that anymore. When I was Christian, I was kind of unsure, not sure what to open up and read, but I want to read a verse about something to tell people about a part in the Bible that maybe in your church they don't really say, but it's important for you to understand, to know, who Jesus is, the guy you are following, so that you understand. So, in my Bible, I opened it up, as you can see, Bible, just so you know I'm not reading something else. And basically open my Bible up, and I'm in Matthew. So I'm reading the verse Matthew, I believe it is chapter 10, line 34 going to 38. So I'm going to read this verse to you. And for some of you Christians, this verse may come as a shock, but this tells you who the type of person that Jesus is and stuff like that. A lot of people say Jesus is, holier than thou. He's the, light and everything like that. And he's good and all this stuff. But, I want to ask about this particular, you guys listen to this verse. So, Matthew 10, 34 to 39. Open your Bible, read it. My Bible is a Eastern Standard Version. Yours might be King James or whatever. But if you want me to find the verse in King James, I will, because he has a King James Version Bible. So, I don't mind going to different Bibles to read the same verse. You know what I'm saying? Because you'll be surprised how they try to, in one Bible they'll say one thing, another one they'll say something else, try to get the same point across. But it's not really the same. But I was surprised in my Bible to find Matthew, chapter 10, verse 34 to 39. 39. So it says, so the title of the section is Not Peace, but a Sword. So it says, this is Jesus speaking. He says, do not think I have come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, and a daughter, and against her mother, and a daughter-in-law, and against her mother-in-law. And a person's enemies will be those of his own household. Whoever loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever does not take his cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds his life will lose it, and whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. Okay, so this is basically Jesus in the Holy Bible that was in Matthew. And that verse was Matthew 10, verses 34 to 39. Basically, in that verse, Jesus is telling you that the people in your household are enemies. So if you're a mom and you have kids, your kids are your enemies. Okay? Anybody in your household is your enemy. Your children, your husband, your boyfriend, whoever. Okay? Now, I had, some dust in my throat or whatever. Maybe demons don't want me to speak this verse. I don't know. But the point is that...
Some water real quick?
Yeah. The point is, basically, is that this is a verse in the Holy Bible. Okay? So if I read a verse like that, what else is it that's in the Bible that is not being spoken about? Now, this video isn't all about decoding the Bible, because there's people who do it a lot better, than I will say that I could do with it, But, did you want to read it in King James Version?
Yeah, this is the King James version.
So this is the authorized version that they have in church too.
Yeah, it says it. Bam.
Yeah, you can read the other one. You can turn it on the front.
But it doesn't say authorized version on the front.
Oh, no. But this is on here, basically, it says it's the King James Version. It's probably inverted, but King James Version, Holy Bible. So nobody can say, okay, well, her Bible is the Eastern Standard Version. So I'm not going to listen to that. Okay, so let's listen to the version your church
Okay.
authorizes.
You know how everybody immediately says all the bad things of Satan? Okay. Something like I'm saying, when you read this, you know, everybody naturally, sometimes, you know, a lot of people will naturally blame God. God, why you do this to me? God, why you do this to me? Because, you know, life and death is supposed to be in His hands. Whether or not you're murdered, it's all supposed to be in God's plan. Anyway, type of thing. Well, you have a right to be mad at Him. You do have a right to be mad at the God of the Bible, because I mean, look right here. This is Isaiah 45 verse 7. Okay, I form the light and create darkness. Okay, I make peace. Like us, we can make peace. We don't create peace, but we can make peace. It says, I make peace and create evil. Create means to, like this weed. The parts for this weed never existed until they created it. Okay, they had to create that, and now the weed exists. Okay, so I, the Lord, do all these things, and all the way through it says, Isaiah 45 verse 7, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things.
Do you have
Now,
so that was Isaiah 45, and
I'm sorry, but we got something to be mad about. Everybody has something to be mad at the God of the Bible.
So what was
about
that? So this
for
verse
creating
was
the evil.
So that verse was Isaiah 45, verse 7, right?
Yeah.
Just so to clarify what that was, it was Isaiah. So in the Bible, it is Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7. I just want to clarify that. So if you want to look that up, you can look it up. So there's no, you guys, y'all might say, oh, I heard it, but I want to find it in the Bible. You can find it yourself. So it's Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7. And I don't know if you got Matthew. You do have Matthew in here too.
Notes.
So he has a lot of notes in his Bible. I have a lot. Mine is like hardback, whatever. So mine was, and I wanted to use the King James Authorized Version too, because I wanted to elaborate that verse that I said in my Bible, which was Matthew 10:34-39. Well, Matthew chapter 10, verse 34-39. So you can read that too. So you guys can look that up if you want to. So this is in the Bible. It says, let's see, here we go. It's 34-39. So Matthew 10, verse 34-39. So it says, the verse I just read, but it's in the King James Version. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man a variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foes shall be they all of his own household. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it. Okay, so basically,
so much for free will. That's out the window.
Well, yeah, because like one thing is that you really don't have much of, you don't have any free will. You basically are following Jesus, but people really don't know what it means to follow Jesus. This is just Matthew 10, verse 34-39. This is one example of what Jesus tells, people to do, if they're going to, be following him. There's other verses. But I think what I want to make the point of with Christianity, guys, is that you got to know what it is you're agreeing to when you say you're joining a church or you are a Christian. Don't just say I'm a Christian because you're a Christian just to fit in with people. You got to know what it is that you're following. Because let's suppose, for example, like this Bible or, these two Bibles. See, one Bible, the other Bible. Okay, so nobody's hiding. We got two Bibles. Okay, so, ain't nobody hiding nothing. So, basically, you have to know what you're following. You know, it's just like if you're going to vote in an election, you need to know the policies these people are going to be signing into law. Now, let's assume that, for example, that, I'm in the United States, so let's assume that the government declares martial law and they say that, the stuff in the Bible is now fair game and you can get killed for something, and they say you got to follow Jesus strictly, and if you don't, you die, right? Okay, so that means that, all the verses are in play, including the commandments, the whole thing, right? And they go with the whole Bible, right? So if you don't follow his rules, you die. There's tons of rules in the Bible. Tons.
I mean, what the hell does the Ten Commandments mean if God tells, if God says thou shalt not kill, but immediately has people to go kill the people that was worshiping the golden calf because they didn't know no better? He immediately tells them to go do that right after that. What's up with that? So what the hell? I mean, rules are meant to be broken. Heck, he broke the tablets.
He broke the Ten Commandments after it was written. What do you think about What do you think about, like, being on your journey, like your spiritual journey?
Well, for my spiritual journey now, I'm consistently working on lucid dreaming and astral projection because I need to know more about me popping out my body. I need to have more of my memories remain mine. I need to know more about my past lives or reincarnations or whatever because I got here and I heard that voice. And this is not heaven. This ain't it. I mean, but like I said, I did say yes, I wanted to see the kingdom of heaven, but I didn't know it was the womb. But through study, now I know that it was the mother's womb. I know that now. But then I didn't. And that had to have been, because now I'm not a Christian. So I had to really believe them, that I was going to go to heaven. Because this ain't it. My life sucked. The abuse, the molestation, let me tell y'all the first time I heard about prayer and what happened the first time I prayed. They told me, I said I go through a lot of abuse and I need help. And they said, try Jesus. I said, okay. They said, just pray to Jesus. I said, okay. I went back home. My mom was gone. My abuser was there. My sister was 10. Okay, I was 12. The first time I ever prayed, I heard he took my sister, the abuser took my sister into a room. And I heard a lot of screaming, and I was doing the dishes. I heard a lot of screaming and banging on the walls. And then I started hearing these weird groans, these very weird, awkward sounds. And I went and I started praying. I said, Jesus, please save my sister. Something weird's happening. Her screams got louder. Okay. The banging got louder. It was like a moan, it was like a rape. It was like, those of you who know that sound, I was molested, but if she was...
So she was being raped, essentially.
Yeah, and the more I prayed, the more fucked up her groans got, and her moaning with the screaming got, and his yelling got, with the banging on the walls got, the more I prayed. That was the first time I ever prayed. I'm really trying to tell y'all, I don't know what type of black magic is in this stuff, if it's in there, but every time I do it, I listen to what they say, it has not been good. So, it don't work, y'all. Praying will make shit worse. Reading the Bible will bring demons out. I don't know what to tell y'all, except watch out.
So the thing to kind of be aware of for a lot of you listening is that, that's a traumatic situation to be in, to hear, a sibling of yours being abused, or rather just being raped, a man raping a young girl, and he's praying for his sisters to stop and stuff, and you would think Jesus would have came down, the angels came down, the abuse would have left, but see, this did not happen. All right, it didn't happen. So for people to say, oh well, you must aided in it, you know, you're heartless. You know, I got some more, I would have more words to say. But you know, the point is that it did not work. You know, and this is you know, and people leave churches and stuff because they got a lot of things going on and stuff. And the thing is like for the two of us, we are on our spiritual journeys and you know metaphysics or occult, whatever you want to call it. We're on these journeys because we are here to help people to make sense of their lives and what they have gone through and what they're going through to get understanding about things. And this is why you know, we both are on a journey to opening our third eye, whatever. He's going through it in a different way, and I have him elaborate about that. Um, I'm opening my third eye through, you know, meditation or whatever, because, you know, I want to help people and use my gifts to help people. Because I feel like, you know, there's a lot of bad things that are going on, and I want to help people to not have to go through things like feeling like they're alone or they're crazy or something like that, you know, and stuff. And there's a lot of great things that go along with having, you know, the third eye open and stuff like that is very good, you know, I feel like for people. And, you know, that's one of the reasons I'm going to say that, you know, I am basically going to be working with people and helping people. There's tons of people who need help, you know, they or like he was looking for a conscious community, conscious meaning people who experience the paranormal and stuff like that. And, you know, we're really going to be helping people in different ways. I'm going to be helping people through numerology, crystals, herbal medicine, and Reiki. That's what I'm going to be doing, you know, and I'm on the process of doing that, you know. But opening the third eye, it is a journey. It's not easy. There's a lot of people who make it out to be easy, like they say on YouTube. Or I listen to one meditation, my third eye open. Bullshit. Okay, don't work like that. I've been trying a lot of different approaches, and you know, I find that I got to keep working on it and stuff in order to do it. This one guy on YouTube, it took him 8 months, I believe. I think it was AJ the Sage. It took him 8 months to open his third eye and stuff. It takes time. It doesn't take 5 minutes. Okay, just to elaborate about that. And the third eye, church says is demonic. Bullshit. Okay.
Maybe they are. I mean, good. I mean, let me. Okay, y'all remember? Do any of y'all remember the time where you went to the church with a problem, and they told you, you know, just go ahead and tell that person that you're going to tell the truth, because the truth shall set you free. Remember when they said that? Let me tell you, the first time that I listened to that, so I listened to them and I tried it. This is the first time. So prior to me asking that question, what happened was that uh, my dad had taken my my mom's child support money from me and my sister, and they went out. They was going to have the guy who comes over and molests me every night that they do that, about 3 times a night. I get molested by this dude or whatever, and I was happening from the age of actually 8 years old, and then 13 through all the way to 16. But I was about 14 or 15. I think I was about 15 at this time. It is the first time I ever heard him say that. So that night, before I went to church, that night when they left, I went and I spent the night at my bully's house. I had a bully named Malcolm. I spent the night at his house, and I left there. And I was expecting my molester to not be there, but he ended up being there. And Malcolm's mother, she had left, and Malcolm also left, and I didn't know because I was asleep. And the guy comes in, starts putting his mouth on places, and starts getting on top of me and all type of stuff. So I'm punching, I'm fighting, and I run and I dive in between two mattresses, and I just stay there, and I'm holding on, holding on, and eventually I hear him walk out. As soon as I hear him walk out, and this lasts for like 6 hours, it lasts until morning time. I got there about 11 o'clock at night, and because I know on my way all around my hometown, and so I dive for the door. I'm like, dude, make a beeline for the door. I run outside. I I run all the way to my dad's house, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning now. Um, or no, it's like 3 in the morning. So I was not like, I think I was there a little earlier than 11 then, because it was like 6 hours. I was there for a while. We're going to that, and I get there, and I bang on the door, boom, 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 you know, and I didn't tell my dad what happened about me getting molested, even though it's went for, a lot of nights, like 3 times a week. That was really, really, really fucking bad that night. So I didn't tell him anything. And I never lied to my dad because I need him to believe me when I tell him the truth of things. I went to the church. So that happened on a Saturday. Came Sunday, I went to the church. I said, Pastor, I need to talk to you. I'm being touched places and I'm being held down. I need help. He told me that, the truth shall set you free. So go tell the truth. I went to my dad. I went to my dad that Sunday, and I knocked on the door. I said, boom, boom, boom. It was like sliding doors. He opened sliding doors. He said, come in, son. I said, okay. I came in. He said, what's wrong? I got to tell you something. I said, last night over Malcolm's, my molester, I was molesting me, and he's part of your wife's family member and things, and he's been touching me places and doing all this stuff. When I told him the truth, the church told me that, and the truth shall set me free. My dad took his fist, and he said, are you gay now? Are you gay now? Are you a fag now? He said, boom, 1, boom, 2, boom, 3 in my chest, and I fell to the floor. And I just looked at him, out of breath, and I just screamed at him. I said, you're like my abuser. And that's it. That was the first time that I listened to them to tell me the truth shall set me free. Watch out what they say to y'all.
So, it is something that's important to know, is that, the church doesn't really have your best interest at heart, and that's something that's, his life is a testament to it. Like on his YouTube channel, he has, videos about a lot of stuff that he's gone through and stuff like that, or whatever. And, it's important to know that, you go and you follow what the church says, and it doesn't help any. But, like I said, I'm on my journey, actually we're both on journeys to help people, in different ways or whatever. And I elaborated kind of about, well, I guess I didn't go full on my spiritual journey. So my spiritual journey started because after Donald Trump got elected, I basically was surprised that people in the United States would elect somebody like him, seeing as how he had racist types of things that he said against, black people, disabled people, treatment of women, all this stuff. And I was surprised. And I was even more surprised that church people, they voted for him. Christians voted to get Donald Trump in office. Now, it was something that was shocking. Also, I was shocked about the fact that my vote did not help in terms of getting a good candidate into office and stuff. And I lost faith in, my, in the voting process that, my, the country's supposed to have, where, it's supposed to elect people that's supposed to do good for all people. And so I basically went into a depression, a lot of anxiety, and I was scared for my life. And so I turned to spirituality. And he was looking at some spiritual stuff at the time anyway, with spirituality and stuff. And I kind of started looking at it. He really didn't know I was looking at it. But I was start watching spirit science and stuff, and trying to get an understanding. And it was something where I was kind of watching the videos and stuff, and that kind of got me on a journey to spirituality. And I started, meditating, and that started helping me to realize that, things were okay, it took me a while before I felt comfortable going outside and dealing with people because I thought basically hell was outside. You know what I'm saying? Type thing. You know, because people said after Donald Trump got elected, you had a lot of racist people said they were going to kill black people. And so, you know, naturally I was not happy and, you know, excited about going outside, you know. And so, you know, it took spirituality to, you know, bring me back whole and bring me back to a new level. And now I'm on the path to spirituality. Christianity, I left it, you know, because it did not help. It was the Christians that voted Donald Trump in office. It actually was. You know, you had pastors telling a congregation to vote for Donald Trump. You know, so it is what it is. But you know, the thing is now is that, and he can testify this because people in his church voted for Donald Trump.
And then they defriended me off of Facebook after they did it.
So, yeah, it's pretty. You know, it's stuff runs deep. We got a lot of stuff we can kind of elaborate on and say stuff on. You know, but what about your spiritual journey? Like, because I mean, you've been dealing with paranormal stuff all your life and spiritual stuff all your life. So,
okay, well, my spiritual journey. The reason why I had to restart, because I had this thing before. Okay, so basically, I never gave 100% of my life to God. I never did that till one day during a men's meeting at a church. At the church that was like right down the street, wherever. I went there and I said, I and my wife gave 100% of my life to, and I'm not gonna say it again, but because something happened. But when I said that, I got up. You know, church was over. Not church, but the men's meeting with the church group. Just the four of us. And I got up. I went home, and around this spot right here, I was sitting in like one of the black chair. Okay, it was a set that went to that table, and I was about right over here. I sat down, and I felt this impact come like inside my head, like this from the right side, and I felt it close in the middle of my head, and I got an image of a like the Predator, like how the Predator turns invisible or something. That's what I got. I got an image like that. It grabbed like my abilities or something, and then it went out the left of my head. I couldn't hear nothing. I couldn't see the future. I got no deja vu's. So I was like, uh-oh. Because that was the same ability of seeing my future and all that stuff I was using to help my mom. I was using that to help people. That's not what I was looking for. Like, I remember I told you guys I went to church to stuff to look how to better my abilities, look how to become more intuitive because I needed help with them. What happened was that I went and I told the church people about it. And they was like, yay, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, that was the total wrong intention. I did not mean to do that. So I was like, how do I get that back? You know, so I started meditating. Now, when I started going to the altar, I couldn't sit there and close my eyes and try to pray for repentance because all I kept seeing after that happened, all I kept seeing was alien faces just in my vision, just over and over and over again. I was like, oh shoot, I done gave up my abilities to some alien thing. Like, that wasn't God at all. And I was like, oh man, I done messed up. So that's how I started to do the meditation, and that's where, that actually started helping me. That's how I ended up remembering about being in my mom's womb. That memory. Meditation is what started to really help me, and I just would do it a lot of times. I would just do it for 30 minutes. Nowadays, I just do it for 5 minutes before I try to astral project. But yeah, that's basically what started me really on it. But I wasn't fully on it. I was just meditating.
Mm-hmm.
But I got into astral projection because I had a nightmare about me getting on an alien ship, and this alien took my penis and used some type of suction, and it was put it up his anus or something like that, and it was hella gay, and I was disgusted. But I woke up and there's like some semen that was like out, and I was like, how is that possible? Like that dream was nasty. And then I came here to this computer that I'm at right now, and I could smell the same smell of my molester. And I was like, oh, hell no. So I'm like, I'm going to make sure that I'm aware in my dreams enough, or aware, enough to fight. And I needed to do that. That's when I learned about lucid dreaming. And that's when I learned about astral projection. And that's taken me on a journey to make sure that they don't take advantage of me. I'm strong in my dreams, and I'm strong if I come out of body.
So, so you guys can see we kind of both came into the spiritual journeys very different. For me, my goal with my spiritual journey, one reason I'm going back to try to open my third eye is because through the form of meditation, is because when I was born, I had the gifts of the third eye, and stuff like that. And I knew about God or source, so I knew about him, not the Judeo-Christian or Bible God, not that, the actual God that exists. So I knew about the real God, the real creator and stuff. And
That's my
so
journal making all that noise, by the way.
So
Go ahead, babe.
So it's just one of those things where, I actually knew about the not concept of God, but actually the God that actually is and stuff. And I had my gifts, psychic abilities and stuff. And I even knew my family members, who they were and different stuff like that, or whatever. And basically, I lost my psychic abilities after I got lead poisoned. I don't know how the hell I got lead poisoned. I really don't know, because something happened. I guess it's because of, the shots you get as a baby or something. But I guess that gave me lead poisoning, because there was no lead paint around or anything where I was as a baby. So I lost my abilities. And the thing about my lead poisoning is that I could have been killed from my lead poisoning. So it was one of those things where I guess the Matrix was trying to get rid of my abilities, because they were, very strong, I guess, being a baby coming in. So, for me, I'm seeking to reclaim my psychic abilities, because those are my birthrights, and they're something I'm going to use. And, they're going to be something I'll use to make my life better. I've discovered my life without my psychic abilities has not been very great. It's been very ordinary. But, I've always, had a deeper way of looking at things than other people. I'm the type of person I kind of stand out from other people, because I'm not like everybody else. I don't follow the same stuff as everybody else. And, I look for things to be better and more optimistic and stuff, unlike a lot of people. I've met people like myself. But, my goal is to, gain my third eye back, because I want to use my abilities to, find ways to help people and make life a lot better and stuff like that. And, that's what I want to do. I came here to help, and that's what I'm going to do. I knew I was sent here to help and stuff like that. For me, I have a memory of being actually, I have a memory of basically a long time ago, which I think it goes back. It was probably because I've had other lives on Earth or stuff. I've been reincarnated in different lives. I've had past lives. I'm going to do a video on that at some point. Um, but if you guys want to comment below the video, I'll know to do the video or whatever, because I haven't gotten around to doing it. But I've had past lives. But I would say the memory I have as a baby, like before I got here, I have a memory that I think stays with me, which is not an earthly memory. It's the memory of me being in heaven, and basically me having the choice of whether or not to choose to incarnate here and to help here, and stuff like that. Now, being in heaven, that means that I was an angel. So yes, I was an angel. I was, I didn't have to come here. I didn't have to incarnate here. I could have stayed there. But the reason I came here was because I came here to help God with what needs to be helped with, because, he wasn't having such a good, you know, he was basically having, things happen good on earth like it was supposed to and stuff like that. Um, because he was trying to help people on earth and it was not happening. And so I came to help because, I wanted to help God, not the Judeo Christian God. Let me nail that in your head. Not that God, not the God in the Bible, the actual God that exists. Um, so, you know, I was actually helping the real God. And I felt the right to do it because I wanted to help him. Me, I just have a relationship with God where, I've even had as a little girl, and when I was a little girl, I would talk to God a lot and stuff. And people thought I talked to myself, but I'm really talking to God, type thing and stuff. And so my relationship with God, and I'm not saying it like a Christian because I'm not a Christian. Um, my relationship with God is far more closer, so to speak, than it would be for other people and what people would be able to conceive and understand. It's kind of like a father-daughter relationship type of thing. Um, and so for me, I just always knew that wherever I was, God knew I was there and He knew what I was saying and stuff like that, type of thing. And so, and this is before I had a concept of church. Okay, this is before that. I want to clear that out for you guys so you know, because you're just going to say, oh, she got that from church. No. Okay? The relationship with God that people have in church, they ain't got no relationship. They got as close a relationship with Santa Claus. Okay? That's what y'all working with when y'all say y'all got a relationship with God in the church. That's kind of how it is. Okay? Um, but, can you have a real relationship with the real God? Yeah, you can. You can have a relationship with the real God by learning the truth about the Bible, by learning about the truth about how this world actually is and different things like that, type of thing. So you can actually go and learn it. But yeah, it's one of those things where, I didn't have to come here. But the funniest thing that Anwan and I have a consistent about our um, like our incarnations or like our memories is that before we came here per se, we both had a bit like an idea that the earth was supposed to be very different than what it is.
Yeah.
Which I find is very funny now. I kind of draw the connection, but we actually do.
I remember complaining. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and tell y'all. When I was little and bad things happened, I was complaining to my mom so much. I was like, Mom, what is this place? I was like, this isn't supposed to be like this. Like, life isn't supposed to be like this. People are not supposed to be able to feel pain. People's not supposed to be getting hurt. Why are people dying? What's going on? I was very upset. I'm like, why are, nobody's flying. I can't fly. Where's the other planets at? I'm looking in the sky like there's just the sun up there. And at nighttime, there's just one moon. And I would always tell her, like, where's the other planets at? Where am I? To be honest with you all, I had a very hard time walking on two legs. I would run on all fours like normal. I'm talking like just straight Thundercat, like, which I later had a dream about. Maybe in the past lives, so that was weird. No, um, but I had a hard time doing that with school. I had a hard time fitting in. I just saw life so differently, and I didn't. I still, even now, I can't get why people don't want to be happy. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I still can't understand it. Even now. Go ahead.
My conception of Earth is that I had to meditate in order to get this vision about what it was that the Earth was supposed to be, because, like I told you guys, I was an angel in heaven, so, you know.
She's saying that to make so it makes sense to you guys.
Yeah, I mean,
because
I'm not
like where they got it from, from Africa and stuff on the walls, it's gods because he said is it not written that you're gods? She's saying angels, so
Yeah,
y'all can relate. But
well,
in reality,
I'm saying,
she's a god. Okay, that's just it. Okay, a god
well,
helping God.
For where I know, from what I understand, is that I remember being in a heaven-like place, and there were pillars, and it was light and stuff, and I basically had the nice clothes on, light clothes on and stuff, had wings, type of thing and stuff. And some people gonna say, "Well, you crazy? How can you say you was an angel or whatever?" Well, this, was
Yeah, you
one
can
of my
look how you want to
incarnations.
look.
It was one of my incarnations. I mean, I know I was an angel, so I knew I was.
Well, there you go.
I know. Look, one of my past lives, I was a witch. So, I'm not afraid to say that I was a witch in a past life. So I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all Christians, y'all feel a certain type of way, I was a witch, damn it. So it don't matter. Okay. I was an angel. I was a witch.
They can't
Don't
be
matter.
mad. They got witchy stuff in the book right now. They can't be mad.
So I don't really care about all that. And speaking of such, that's gonna be something I'm gonna go into doing more research about being a witch, because I was in my past life I was a witch, and I had gifts and stuff like that where I was able to help women. So that was something that I was able to do, in being a witch and stuff like that. And so that, and even getting my past life reading done was really great for me, because it let me know about the incarnations, and I knew it was true because I felt it on the inside, and I was emotional about the things. But the thing is that
She makes me excited to want to get mine done now.
yeah, we're gonna be working on getting his done and stuff, which is important, because that, I think it'll help Anwan with validating some of the things that memories that he has for past life, and putting together more so to connect and understand his higher self and stuff, because we all have higher selves, selves of ours that are closer to God up there, that have our best interests at heart. Most people say guardian angels in Christianity, but I guess that's where they got it from, type shit. But they Christianity, they copied a lot of stuff from a lot of people. Like you said with voodoo, you know what I'm saying? They didn't copy the voodoo. So I mean, there's just a lot of stuff with it. Oh, so yeah, there's a lot of things with it. I mean, we both are on a journey and stuff, with different stuff, and I mean,
So I ain't trying to come back. Fuck that.
well, no, I'm not trying to either. I personally, I don't want to come back into this incarnation of a life, because it's just not what I want it to be. I'm going to fulfill what it is I have to do, and then I'm going to leave and not return here, because I have other commitments, other places, and it's in when I say commitments, I don't mean Masonic or anything like that. I mean, I'm gonna be in the fifth dimension, and I'm gonna be there with people I love and care about, and that's what I'm gonna be doing, and having a life that's not on Earth, type of thing.
It's for this place. That's why I ain't have no kids.
Yeah, and that's something
one of
too.
the things that made me exit the church men's fellowship or men's meeting was because there was a person there, this black, that I admired, and I really admired his passion for God and Jesus and everything, and I wanted to be like him. And I was sure that he was going to get a heaven visit, but I ended up getting a heaven visit dream instead. Where I was working on a bridge, and I went up to heaven with an angel, and
Mm-hmm.
every like people was like really tall, animals was tall, even the extinct ones was there, and the like places made out of pearl and whatever. And she made me jump through this TV, and now when I jumped through, I went through this Disneyland like castle. I landed in front of a Disneyland castle, but as soon as I jumped through the TV, I landed upside down. And then she told me something like, this is where this is where what you would call demons can come through your TV, but they do everything backwards here, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then just like this, how you can allow into your house, or whatever. And then she told me to jump back out. When I jumped out of the TV, like I landed in some grass, and everybody was like sitting over me in this dream. And I was at a wedding, and everybody was asking me if I was okay, and I was like, yeah. And she said something about, if you ever wonder why you can't help but to stick your tongue out and taste the rain, it's because that rain fell from heaven or something like that, she said. I had that dream, and I went and told them about it. And they started telling me, we've been studying the Bible, and we've been reading the Bible and been Christian for 45 years, and I've been one for 35 years, and this person's been one for 20 years. And God says that those people who haven't even had any of those experiences, He looks at those better than you. And I'm like, what's wrong with y'all? Like, I'm trying to get on y'all level, you know. But then I found out before I left that one of the brothers, he made a baby, and he was always talking about hell, and people gonna go to hell, and these people don't know God gonna go to hell, but he gonna have a baby. He made a baby here with that strong belief in hell so bad that he's telling other people about it. He's posted on Facebook about it, and you probably YouTube comments about it. And I lost everything because you are the number one. If anybody that believes in any Christian that believes in hell so strongly to tell other people like that about that you're going to go to a place where all your abusers can do what they want with you for all eternity, and in death you were hoping to escape this whole time, and now you're being told that in death you can't even escape in death. You are evil to me for having a child, or for making one. Any woman Christian that does that really believes in hell that strongly, that does that, I can only deem it as evil. Because and if you believe in that, look at what's happening in the world. The possibility of messing up is high, and why it is the way to go to hell. So, sorry.
So, what do you think about? I was going to ask you about the. So, what do you think about? So we've each like followed people on YouTube that have spiritual gifts or have their third eye open and stuff like that. So, I wanted to ask you about spiritual transparency. Like, for you, you said that you like, for the people who you follow on YouTube who are like astral projected and lucid dreaming and really experts in it, you are really strong on
personal
following
experience. People. Yeah, personal experience is what I need. I need it to be transparent. Like if I catch someone who's saying something like this, I opened up my third eye on accident. But I'm not going to tell you how I opened up my third eye. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you the story. You're written off. Any person that comes on, the chakras, it's like this and like, okay, no. If I don't hear you say, well, this is what I did, or it took me this long to achieve whatever, or I had to do this diet to get to do this point to this point, and I followed this diet, or I watched this YouTube video, and this is the video that helped me to do this, and I did this for however many long. If you're not telling me your personal experience or how you've done stuff, I'm not going to watch you. I mean, I'm not going to take your information as real world, because we need real world actual information, because we live in the real world in 3D right now. Okay? And so general information ain't going to cut it for us who actually have these experiences and who's trying to understand ourselves.
What about the people who are just trying to follow along with the group with spirituality? What about the people who are the pretenders?
Well, I mean, they want to be a part of something, like church. They just want to find a group. They're trying to fit in. Matter of fact, there's somebody. I don't remember his name. I'm sorry, y'all. But there's a guy. He looks kind of Asian. He looks like Ryan Cropper a little bit. But he wanted to open his third eye. He wanted to see if it was real. That really was all he was after.
Mm-hmm.
So it took him 8 months of straight vegetarian diet.
Detox, I think.
And he detoxed, and he only drank distilled water every time. That's all he drank. So he did that for 8 months straight. Mm-hmm. And on the 5th month, he was walking with a friend, and he saw this fountain just freeze. And he looked at his friend and he's like, "Do you see it?" He's like, "No, what you talking about, bro?" And it just was frozen. He's like, "Wow, that's amazing." So, and on the 8th month, he was on a golf course. And it's like everything in his vision just went zoom. And he was in a totally different realm. And he walked up to this hill, and there's grass was beautiful, there's flowers were beautiful, trees beautiful, whatever. And he was just on this land. And he meditated there, and he got some really deep feelings and insight. And next thing you know, when he comes back, he found out that he had walked some paces in real life. a little bit. But he was nothing like on the hill where he was at. And that's when he realized, okay, it's real. That was it. He was done. He said, I can't function like this in society, in the Matrix. He still wanted to be in the Matrix. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was really
he still wanted
attached
to
to
be
it.
an illusion.
He wanted to be alone with his friends and stuff. And there's a lot of people who want to test like he did.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who want to test whether the third eye is real, and then when they find out it's real, they say, oh, okay, that's enough because there's too much truth to it.
Yeah.
And my question was with the guy was that why would you go and open your third eye if you don't do any research on what's going to happen and try to find out about other people's experiences before you kind of get involved with it? You know, it's the third eye is not something where you just kind of try it once and then, you know, you think it's just pretend type of thing. You know, is something that it does change your perception about things.
Once you know, that's it.
Yeah.
Knowing is fact. Knowing is your experience. Knowing is your world. We all live on the same planet, but we all have totally different worlds we live in. Now, for him, I mean, that's it. He wanted to see if it was real, and that's it. You know, but for other people, we want to use it to continuously and get used to it. And now we have people to confide in ourselves, you know, people we can talk to, community, Facebook pages or whatever. And we exist out here. It's hard, but we're going to have the bad people in the mix of it, and we got to kind of weed them out.
I think for reference to transparency, I think it's important when we go on YouTube and looking for people, it's very important to find people that, like you said, with personal experience who are willing to talk about what it is that they did, how long it took them, and stuff like that. Like for me, I was on Facebook. I'm part of like Ryan Cropper's friend group or whatever, and you know, there's somebody on the page that mentions something about oil pulling, and there's somebody had an article put up there like saying, "Oh, oil pulling is bad" or something like that or whatever, some type of article they got off the internet. I personally tried oil pulling for, you know, some days, and I actually tried it. And, you know, my thing is about personal experience. Now, I had tried oil pulling a while before this guy threw this article up here using, you know, these expert opinions or whatever about it. You know, I tried it myself and I found it to be fine. But you see, like for me, you know, personal experience matters. That's why I go and try things like, you know, sun gazing, oil pulling, just different stuff that I hear about and stuff. And I like to try things. Now, I haven't tried DMT. I haven't, you know, gone that far. Magic mushroom. I ain't trying none of that stuff. But, you know, I do try things that, you know, I feel like it would be, you know, okay to try. And, you know, I think it's that the fact is that you got some people who want to just believe what they see on media, and you got people who, you know, they want the truth and firsthand experience. And for me, I want firsthand experience, and that's why I like following people on YouTube who actually do talk about how they opened their third eye and what they did or whatever, and their experience and stuff. And a lot of people don't feel comfortable sharing, like, you know, what their life is like, or I guess they don't think much about it because their reality is their eyes open, so they just get used to it, and they're kind of taken aback. And I asked somebody, I asked Meditation Bridge about her experience with living with the third eye, and for her, it's quite an experience to live with something like that. It's very, you know, it takes a person to be able to deal with, you know, spirits and stuff like that. But, you know, I admire that she actually spoke about it and was honest about it when I asked her when she was doing what's that thing? When she was doing the thing
where you go live.
Yeah, when she like went live
Question
and stuff. Question and answer when she went live. Yeah, I admire her for that and stuff. And I think spiritual transparency makes sense. People with general information, I think they really hurt people who are trying to have a spiritual awakening or go towards it. They really hurt people because they're just refeeding people the same bullshit that they hear, but they haven't tried it themselves. A lot of people on YouTube, a lot of them, they just want to get views. So they say something about the third eye because they want to get views. That's pretty much it. You know, they really don't know nothing about it or anything. They just want to fit in to get a bunch of views because they know a lot of people are searching for it. And that's what they want to do. with reference to it. Me, I'm gonna open my third eye. When I open my third eye, then yeah, I'm gonna share with people what I did and how long it took and what worked, what didn't work, and stuff. For everybody, it's gonna take a different thing. But I'm okay with having an experience with a third eye. I know it's gonna be different because I'm gonna be an adult doing it as opposed to being a child having a third eye type of thing. So I noticed that. Um, but I think transparency is important. The people who sit here and lie, it does not help any. It actually hinders people who are trying to, you know, find like their psychic abilities and stuff. People like N1 who are trying to, and myself who are trying to open our third eyes and stuff. And it doesn't help if you got people up here lying about saying, oh,
Right.
I opened my third eye, but I ain't going to tell you how I did it. Well, that means you're lying. Same thing with astral projection. You got people who say they astral project, but they don't want to tell their full experience or whatever.
Yeah, and when you ask them, they go around the whole subject and never actually tell you how they do it. And then, I asked somebody in a Facebook group, actually on the Ryan Crawford group, and she wouldn't tell me. So I was like, if you don't know, if you don't really, if you're just making it up, just tell me you don't know, or just tell me, that you're making it up, just because I'm looking for real information.
Yeah, and that's really something that is important. I think one thing I want to stress also for people is that the things like with the occult, spirituality, whatever you want to call it, metaphysics, there's nothing, also the only thing there's something that's spooky. I'll tell you what's spooky. What's spooky is church and Christianity. That's spooky. That's some spooky shit when you consider you look in the Bible and you see these verses about people dying and the men being able to take the women and girls who have not lain with men and stuff or whatever and
just take them further south.
Yeah, and these little girls and saying, "Oh, okay, you can go take the little girl."
And then God just giving somebody wives against their will. You know what I'm saying? And then you are, you're another one where you're sitting here, you're a pharaoh, and you don't want nothing to happen to your people or whatever. So you're going to let the people go, but God fucks up with your free will so that you don't let the people go, and then F's everybody up and all their sons and everybody's first sons, whether they're infants or they're old men or whatever. I can't, I couldn't, I just had a huge problem. And I went to my pastor and I went to his face and I said, why didn't you tell me about all this stuff, bro? Because actually, truthfully, he knew about all my abuse and he sat there 2 years, the one I'm living next to right here, tell me all that all the time, knowing the truth, knowing that's in there. Not just that, it wasn't Satan. It was God, the person he's telling me to worship.
Yeah, the God of the Bible.
The God of the Bible. That's why I was so pissed.
So what do you think about I was gonna ask you, what do you think about the third eye particularly?
Okay.
What are your thoughts on the third eye?
So I was just hoping to jot down my dream. I got a dream journal on my phone. Awaken that. Anyway, the third eye is difficult. That's all I gotta say. I really, if I say that, it's too general. Let me go ahead and tell y'all why it's difficult. Because you need it open for lucid dreaming. You need it open for astral projection. But if you lucid dream enough times, you can open it through lucid dreaming. If you astral project enough times, you can open it through astral projection. If you get your diet right, and you do the Kundalini yoga with Breath of Fire and the Kundalini yoga, you can open it that way too. If you go on this thing called the Dr. Sebi's diet, I have to look that up. I just learned about it. You do it for 236 days, and that will open that mug. It happened to a couple black people already.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't looked it up to go on the Dr. Sebi's diet. And apparently when you do that, the tips were eat everything that has a seed or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
For me, My third eye was basically okay. I was exposed to paranormal stuff at a very young age. I remember at 3 years old or whatever, there was a Casper ghost that was floating that was glowing in the dark. It was the three brothers, whatever. And they looked at me. I screamed. My aunt came in the room. It was nighttime. There was lightning outside. She left and said, "There's nothing to be scared of." The Casper ghost floated up again. They looked at me. They looked at my sister. And then they went over my sister's head and they spun around. They went back to the middle of the room, spun around. I told them, leave my sister alone. Then they went over my sister's head and they spun around in a circle and they went through a wall. I stayed up all night long and I looked through the wall. I tried to find them toys and I couldn't find them. So I was very exposed to this stuff early. Um, Sometimes you can see behind you. You guys know. I told you stuff about the Bible, about what would happen. So church wasn't a helpful thing for me. You know, y'all's thing is y'all say in comments, YouTube comments, Facebook comments, just try Jesus, just try this, just try that. Okay.
What happened if you tried it?
Remember the first time I tried them things? First time. Okay, go ahead.
So with the third eye, what I think for the third eye is I think that the third eye essentially it's a sense that a lot of people do not have open, and it takes a while to open. It's not something that opens in 5 minutes after one meditation. It is something that is hard to open because people are programmed. We're programmed by what we see on TV. We're programmed by school. We're just programmed by every single thing, and people are implanted too. And so it's not easy to open the third eye for people. The third eye is, our birthright. It is something we're supposed to have, the ability to use. Yes, with third eye, you will be intelligent. You will know a lot of information. Some people want to know the information. Some people will not. Like that guy, when his third eye was open, he did not want to continue with it. But
Now, as you see, that's real. Like that's real stuff. Like your third eye works like your dream. It's like it works like your dreams, kinda. Except it works like your dreams when you're awake. So it's like you basically found out how to take your subconscious and mold your subconscious with your conscious, with your waking conscious. Because, Christians can't even say it's evil because they dream. If I close my eyes right now, I'm asleep. I'm in a dream world. What eye am I using? The third eye. That's it.
I think the third eye is something that there's nothing wrong with the third eye. I mean, once you're okay with using it, it's fine. It takes some getting used to. I haven't opened my third eye yet, by the way, but I'm working on it. I've been working on it for a while through meditation and stuff like that. One thing I would like to elaborate about meditation, there is no such thing as Christian meditation. I'm going to just say that right out. I didn't say it before, but I'm not talking about no Christian meditation. It ain't that.
They don't believe in that stuff anyway.
Yeah,
So lying.
In church they say meditate on the word or something like that.
Oh yeah. I had that happen to me in the men's meeting. The same dude I admired, he would always say that. Meditate on the word of God, meditate on the word. You know what? I read a prefix of an Egyptian book, where it said Osiris, where it said it was the word, and I'm like, what the? I think it's like in 1 John, like the very first thing it says something about the word of God, the word. Yes, that 10,000 years ago, and on the Egyptian walls, where the Egyptian African story, they say that exact thing. So that was taken.
So I mean, yeah, it was taken. Like I think the sense that the third eye is something that does go back a long time. It's something that predates the Bible itself. People have been using it for a long time. It's just the fact that, there's people who don't want you to have it open. Some people cannot handle having it open because some people like to be in the Matrix. They like, the movie The Matrix, y'all probably think, oh, we're just talking about a movie. It's not just a movie. This is the Matrix itself, type thing.
Yeah, y'all gotta realize that the Bible has scriptures, and script writers wrote the Bible, and the Bible sometimes tells you the future of what the powers that be want to do.
Mhm.
Okay, when you watch Family Guy, when you watch The Simpsons, when you watch movies, they also have script writers where they write for the actors. They write the actors, and they give them the script. They give them the scriptures and the lines and the
Mhm.
verses or whatever to say on certain chapters. Like when you go and you put a DVD in, you go to chapters.
Yeah, you go
Okay,
to the scene selection and
and
it'll
it's,
say
yeah,
chapter whatever.
and then sometimes, as we know, Family Guy, The Simpsons, some of these other movies
Yeah, they do
shows
have
us what's
chapters.
in the future, just like the Bible.
Oh yeah.
Shows us, what the script writers wrote in the script. Shows us what the powers that be, what they already know. And Lucy is a big shocker. That means they know a lot. We ain't as much as a fleet of them right now.
Yeah, and it's the funniest thing is like you said something you heard. You said so many people are so caught up in Christianity fighting over Bible verses, but
But we
the
can't find where the good water at.
yeah,
Yeah, because they taking the what like good water can be dead, and it hasn't happened electrical charge because we're made out of 80% water, and we're made of an electrical charge. The spinal cord, the brain sends an electrical pulse, so we need that. While we're sitting here arguing over whether Jesus is real or Allah or God, all that's junk. They not work. The government and the powers that be, they're not worrying about that stuff. They're modulating our frequencies with radio FM frequency modulation and the militarization of frequency and all that other type of stuff, and they're using stuff like the devil's interval, which is 444 hertz instead of the interval, the frequency of love, which is 432 hertz, stuff like that. They're engineering and messing with us. They're working with physics and metaphysics, and they're messing with us energetically and bioenergetically and bioenergy wise, you know. And while we're sitting here wondering where Jesus is at and about Allah and what's going to happen in the world and the Bible and stuff, where the hell the good water at? And they take it off with the water running that way. That's what somebody named Young Pharaoh said. I was rolling.
So what do you think about? I haven't like. What do you think about lucid dreaming? Because I mean, I think I've had a couple lucid dreams. I don't know if well, I think I've had a couple of lucid dreams. I just probably didn't call them that because, like, for me, I don't really study lucid dreaming because I spend more time meditating. I have dreams that are pretty crazy that are real and stuff like that. I've had a few of them. I've never really talked about my dreams on my channel because I don't know. I just never have. I did once. I had a one dream that I probably talked about or something like that I had on my channel. I think I talked about maybe a couple of them. But you know, to me, it's what's fascinating is that when you start getting into meditating and different stuff with dreaming, you start to realize that your dreams become a lot. To me, they become a lot more real and they become a lot more vivid and stuff. It's not the type of dream that everybody has. It's a different type of dream that you have and stuff that is far more interesting. And like the fact that your dreams become real to a point. Like me, I've been able to taste stuff in my dream, real stuff, and it's really crazy. Now I'm working on trying to control my dreams and stuff. I've been able to realize I was dreaming in my dream. One time it collapsed my dream where it's basically shattered everything in one of my dreams. But the other one, yeah, second dream I had, I basically found out my dream wasn't real. So there was this tornado coming, and I decided to run towards it because I realized that it wasn't real, type of thing. So the more you get into meditating different stuff, you're able and working on your third eye, you're opening it anyway. You start to get more, be aware of more possibilities and stuff. And I think it just makes you a better person. I found that it does. And the funniest thing is people who are like filled with light or, spirituality. I noticed the people I come across that are spiritual, I noticed that they not church Christian, not that kind of stuff. Because I can tell you, Christians, they tend to be mean and nasty and rude and everything else. I don't know if you've had that experience
Yeah.
with them being like that. Because,
Matt,
it's supposed to be
Matt,
people
okay,
alike,
let me
right?
go ahead and tell you. Um, okay, even though I was in church, When this was during the time I was I didn't have a very good backbone in my relationship, and I was getting ran over a lot. She was just, you know, smacked us. I was a doormat basically, but I was having problems with my relationship, trying to get things together. And I went to the church. We went to them, asked for them for advice.
Yeah, we was going just to get advice to the church because we thought it would be a way to.
Yeah, this is who was attending, and they said, "Yeah, well, we're not going to support your marriage, or you're not going to be getting married here if she doesn't come and join our church and find God at our church." And
yeah, that's what
Jesus
I was talking about earlier in
church.
this video.
Oh, yeah, and then, so my lady left,
I left.
Spirit, she left. And then his wife, that's his wife, got nerve to tell me, yeah, well, she can just leave, there's plenty of homeless shelters out there. And I just saw that as what an evil bee, you know what I'm saying? First thing first, you got the nerve to talk in church and preach in church knowing that the Bible is telling you not to do so, but you want to say scriptures to me and everybody up in there about something.
Yeah, and claiming to get the Holy Ghost.
Yeah, claiming to get the Holy Ghost and hold her hand. Like, I just sat there waiting. I'm waiting to feel something. There's nothing. If it was really real and the Holy Ghost was really moving, she should have been had a job. You know what I'm saying? With her in her career, 5 years being a bachelor's degree, that's what she did. Get her degree. Should have been done. Stuff for us should have been alright. But no, that Holy Ghost didn't do jack squat. But the thing is that, I know now what the Holy Ghost is, that it's a black woman in an African place. I didn't know that, but we're studying now, I know that it's a black woman. They're basically letting a black woman come inside of their body to do whatever, which is why they do that dance, that African dance you be seeing them doing. They can't help that, you know what I'm saying? It's a channeling, but they're basically going against her book right there. But the thing is that they told her there's plenty of homeless shelters and that, but that's so evil to me because I went through that. I went to the homeless, knocking on doors, asking for food, asking if I can spend a night, dealing with the you're a nigger, get the fuck out of here, and all that. I dealt with all that, for like 4 months, and I couldn't, sharing the last bag of Cheetos with my sister, always handing her the bag, looking at squirrels and rabbits like, dang, man, if I could just get a bow and arrow or something and just try to shoot one of them, make one of them. Everything you look at is food. Every animal, it's food. But except for a cat and dog, because cats and dogs, you were hoping that it will help you find some damn food. So please become my pet.
So is that the first time you've had churches tell you about how to run your relationship life?
Yeah. That was actually the first time that I found out how it was really unacceptable, like to an unacceptable point. Yeah.
Didn't you? I thought you had another instance where you said a church was trying to tell you about your relationship or whatever.
Oh, I did.
That wasn't
the first time. The time before that, I was at a black church. This was the black one. The one I was talking about this second ago was a white one. The black church told me, well, you need to get out of a relationship with her and donate more to our church, and God will bless you. Okay, by the way, the first time when I really started giving to church, and I really started giving this at the white church, that's when I lost my job. I'm not shitting y'all. I gave twice, 2 weeks. I gave the 10% whatever I was giving. And the days I couldn't give, I went online, I went to the donation page on the website, and I donated there. And I lost my job. God didn't bless me, did he? No, God the Bible didn't bless me at all. So the thing is that they told me to break up with her so that I can give more to the church.
The black church.
The black church. Guess what happened? Her place got broken into, and we wasn't living with each other this time. And it was in her room, and they took her laptop.
Yeah, I just got that laptop.
Yeah, and she could have been in her room. She could have been dead, not even here right now. If I would have listened to them church people.
Yeah, so this is really, the stuff we're saying about church is really serious. It's not
like people's lives
roll off your back. Yeah, it's not roll off your back. This is like serious stuff. This is not, just have faith and all this bullshit.
No, if I want to do that.
Oh, if you want to.
Go ahead. Oh, you want to go on Blind Faith? Go to your spam box. Everything that said you're going to win some money, go to your email. Go to your spam. and pray about the blind faith. Now, God, I'm doing this with blind faith. But make sure you have 2 people. Remember, it takes 2 more people for your prayer to work. Okay? Now, go and do that. And everything that says that you want some money, go ahead and sign up, enter your social security number, enter everything they say, and wait for that money to come. See what happens. Put in your bank card information, everything. Follow the whole thing, follow the instructions, because you just got done praying. There's no way you can fail, because God don't fail. So use that blind faith. Go ahead and do it. See if that blind faith works. If it don't, you don't got to go to church no more. You don't got to worry about the Bible no more, hell no more, because obviously it don't work.
So I was going to ask you about lucid dreaming. Have you lucid dreamed already?
Oh, yeah. I lucid dreamed. I've got stuff about that on my channel. I've lucid dreamed a couple times. But I'll let you know the first definitive time I lucid dreamed. I was doing this every day, trying to push my finger through my hand. I kept doing that. Every 30 minutes, I would set my alarm. The app would go off. The Awoken app would go off every 30 minutes throughout my day, and I'd go, am I dreaming? Okay, it didn't work. And that's all I would do. And I ended up doing it there I was, jumping on buildings in my dream. I got to a skyscraper building. I said, am I dreaming? I mean, it was just like, it was like ritual. And I went, zoop, and that mug said, zoop. I was like, what? It went through. When the moment I said that, the building I was standing on and all the other buildings started wobbling. You know, that's what it was like. They start wobbling and stuff, and I was sitting here like, oh shoot, I'm dreaming. So then like this volcanic eruption opened up and it tried to swallow me. I'm like, I'm dreaming, man. What the fuck? Y'all want to try to turn this into a nightmare? I'm like, please. So I just shoot up, boom, like I just shoot up, you know, and I come out and like I fly on the ground, right? I just dive, and then there's this tree. I mean, shit turned like, what was it, the Cinderella story or the Snow White story where the freaking tree comes alive? The fucking tree didn't have no leaves on it, and it came alive, and it tried to grab me. And I was like, bow, bow. You know, I just punched the tree, right? And I broke off some of the branches. And then I was like, I'm going to help God out. It was a desolate place. And that's what I said. And I was like, I'm going to help God out. So I was like, I put my hand, I smacked my hand like that. And I was like, grow. That's all I said. That mother said, and it grew huge. The tree started getting leaves, and I jumped in the air. You know, like Hulk smash. I didn't say Hulk smash. I just jumped in the air, and I came down like Hulk smash, and I said, "Grow." I said it again, and this light shot out in the arc, like a crescent moon. It went out, and all this grass started to grow, and I had this satisfaction feeling like, okay, I did my job, and the dream ended.
And what do you think about? I know you said you're doing about astral projection, because I haven't gotten astral projection. I don't even know what I'm if when we get to astral projection, I might have already, but I don't know.
Astral projection is difficult to get over the fear of the sleep paralysis, because when you start getting in sleep paralysis mode, I'll tell you, first time I did it, I felt that there was 4 humans presences around my bed, and I was like, nope, I need to get out of this. And so the techniques to get out of sleep paralysis is to breathe fast or tighten your abs. You know, just tighten your abs up like that, and that will get you out of sleep paralysis. So that's what I did, and it gets you out pretty quick. That's all you got to do. Second time I tried it, I was right here, and I tried to take a nap, and I tried to sleep paralysis started kicking. I saw, okay, let's go ahead and go through with it, and I saw an image of a baby that was crawling, and it crawled on top of my chest, and it sat on my chest, and the sleep paralysis got really heavy, and it just really kicked in, and I was like, nope. So I tightened my abs that time, and I got out of that. Third time I tried it, I was over here again, and I tried to take a nap. My lady was right there, and I was behind my lady, and I was like, I'm taking a nap. And I woke up in the middle of a dream, and I felt the sleep paralysis. I was like, all right, so let me just go ahead and go through the sleep paralysis. And I started to fall downward. And I was like, immediately when I fell downward, all I could think about was, oh, shoot, down means low vibration. Down means, you know, low vibrational realm. I want to get the hell out of here. So I started using the breathing technique, and I got out of that. It's hard. Haven't been able to astral project yet.
But when you get to it, then like he'll make a video and stuff. But yeah, it's probably been a long video.
Yeah,
we put a lot of we put a lot of information out and stuff like that or whatever. We haven't really done a collab on our channels exactly. Well, maybe we did, but I didn't have a channel at that time. I don't think.
Yeah, and I believe the dreams are important. I work on doing some dream interpretation.
Yeah, so
And
he'll be doing that in the future.
So
He'll be doing that in the future and helping people with the Bible and stuff.
yeah.
So we will have little stuff that we're gonna be working on and stuff, or whatever. And it's just it's a thing that just because you're black or whatever you are, doesn't mean you have to go along with Christianity or any set religion. You can do, you can go and find your own way of doing something.
And if you really believe that the people on TV, the pastors are
T.D. Jakes or
T.D. Jakes or the other big guys,
Joel Osteen or Joyce Meyer or whoever,
contact them. Ask them to donate 10% of their income to your church. See if they do it.
Why don't they donate 10% to you? You the one need to help. I mean, you going to church praying and stuff. You about to lose your job or your house or your kids or something or whatever. Or
they always say it's God's money, so
yeah, why don't they send it to you?
If he's the richest pastor in the world,
yeah.
Hey, T.D. Jakes, go ahead and donate that 10%. To me.
Yeah, because we need it. I mean,
there you go. Go ahead and donate that 10%. They say the proof that Jesus is real. Look around you. They say the same thing for Allah and Krishna. Matter of fact, if I was to look around me, over there in the same part of St. Louis where I was just at, like a couple days ago, to change her tire, there was 2 churches there, and about 3 blocks of just houses broken down, run down, into people look defeated, like they've just been. It wasn't even a ghetto. It was like a throwaway. It was like the homes were just throwaway places, not even hooked up, banged in, boarded up. How do you donate 10% down to that church to get that off the ground? Donate 10% down. Donate his 10%. Get the pastor to donate the 10% in the places that need them. See if they do it. That way guys on your side.
Something else too is I would suggest to a lot of you guys may follow celebrities. I suggest why don't you have the celebrities donate to the schools in your community, to make sure that your kids can have books and stuff like that they need and stuff. I mean, why are celebrities donating to you supporting AACD? Why aren't they donating to you? To make sure that you cool, because you might be losing your job, your house, your car, whatever, and you need the money. They rich, they can help you. Now, I mean, Jay-Z or Beyonce, they can help you. I mean,
when you ask them, make sure to have a little recording of the when they win an award and they said, "I like to thank Jesus, I like to thank God." Have that recording next to your message. Then you'll see if they're really real about that.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I gotta say for real.
Yeah, but
you got any points? Any more points?
No, that's all the points we covered. We covered like a lot of stuff, Christianity through spirituality. We kind of covered a whole lot of stuff, or whatever. And the thing with a lot of stuff is that with the third eye and stuff like that, it's not demonic. It's actually fine. It's just something they try to corrupt.
Like I always say in the beginning of my videos, with my third eye stuff and my paranormal experiences, I didn't know nothing about no third eye. I didn't know nothing about no witchcraft. I didn't know nothing about no meditation. I didn't know nothing about no occult. I didn't know nothing about nothing about that stuff. No. All I knew was about church, and I did what they said, and that's what happened.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
That's what I knew about.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what you start off knowing about it. And does it help? I don't know. I don't think Christianity does.
There you go.
So, and that might be something where there's people we know may not understand or get that, and that's kind of a tough thing where people don't understand or they don't realize because they're Christians and they believe so hard in it.
You know what? In some of these books, I've been reading about astral projection and people who has who astral project throughout their life. They've gotten into some kind of trouble sometimes through their astral projections, and they called on God. They called on Jesus. Actually, they called on Jesus. That motherfucker never showed up. Even in the place where they're supposed to be able to see him, he didn't send no angels, nothing to help them out when they were struggling or they were stuck or whatever. Nothing. And that's the number one place where you're supposed to be able to see Jesus, is in the metaphysical. And nothing. He didn't show up. Not even there. So
that's a nice way to end it in such a way. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching this video. It's quite long. I'm not sure if we're gonna have it all in one video or if we're gonna split it up. I'm not sure.
We'll give you the option.
We'll give you the option of it,
We'll split it up,
and then we'll have a full.
we'll have the full one.
Yeah, we'll do that and add it to both our channels so you guys can watch it and stuff.
It's gonna take forever and a nightmare to get this freaking thing uploaded to YouTube. Or it takes
But
forever.
yeah, but we wanted to share that with you guys and stuff or whatever. So it's been me, Butterfly Spirit 314.
Spin and on your hero. Thanks for watching, y'all. If you made it all the way to this point, we'll shoot. You a trooper.
Yep. Bye bye, guys.
Alright. See y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.